Chapter 901. When Suyu arrived, he heard a lot of people whispering. A young woman was lying on the ground with blood under her head. She wasn't wearing a single piece of clothing. She was completely naked and white. What's going on? I don't know, I heard a bang and she jumped down. Who is this person? Does anyone know her? Suyu looked around and asked. A female artist under Imperial Star slowly walked up and said in a low voice, President Su, I really want to know her. Who is she? Suyu felt uneasy that a strange woman jumped off a building in his own home. She's Zhao Qingya's younger sister, Zhao Xia. I saw Zhao Qingya bring her to the company before, the female artist whispered. Zhao Qingya's younger sister? What's she doing here? Suyu had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. Someone in the crowd called the police and the police quickly arrived. The leader was Gao Ran. Since he heard that there was a murder as the captain, Gao Ran naturally had to lead the team. Young Master Su, I'm sorry. Someone called the police and said that someone jumped off a building. Gao Ran was wearing a black police uniform as he spoke to Suyu with a serious expression on his face. Yeah, right here. Suyu pointed at the woman's body. Gao Ran walked over with his subordinates. Everyone make way, we're going to seal off the scene. Please cooperate. Then the crowd slowly dispersed. It was supposed to be a birthday party, but because of a strange woman jumping off a building, things became complicated. A few female artists whispered among themselves. Is Zhao Qingya's younger sister here to avenge her sister? She doesn't have to risk her life for revenge, does she? That's too scary. Plus, Zhao Qingya was never a good person. President Su did the right thing by terminating her contract. What's there to avenge? Why wasn't the woman wearing any clothes? Did something happen in the bedroom? Most of the guests left because of this incident. A few people who were close to Suyu stayed behind to wait for the latest developments. Gao Ran led the officers from the Major Crimes Division to do a thorough search. They waited outside for about an hour. Then Gao Ran came downstairs with his men. He walked up to Suyu and said in a serious tone, Young Master Su, I'm sorry, but we found a large amount of Bing powder, some tools and the victim's clothes in your bedroom upstairs. Because the victim jumped off the building in your bedroom, we suspect that this incident has something to do with you. Please come with us to assist with the investigation. What? Did you make a mistake? Captain Gao? Tang Chuan was furious. So you had something to do with this? How was that possible? He didn't believe that Suyu would push a woman he didn't even know off the building. Captain Gao, I didn't even go into the bedroom. Even if something happened to her in there, you can't blame it on me, right? Gao Ran stared at Suyu's face and said, We found from your home's CCTV that you disappeared from the footage between 8 o'clock p.m. and 8:20 p.m. Everyone was there, but you were the only one missing. When we checked the CCTV footage, we found that the footage was broken. A few people also said that they asked your assistant, who said that you weren't feeling well and went to the bedroom to rest. The timing matches, so we have reason to suspect that you have the time and motive to commit the crime. Unless you can tell us where you went during that time? Suyu was at a loss for words. During that time he jumped off the wall to see Huamin. Then he told his assistant that if anyone asked, he was going to the bedroom to rest. Why did Suyu feel like he was set up? How could it be so coincidental? Where were you during that time? Gao Ran questioned. Tell us, Lord Su. It's okay, we all believe you, Tang Chuan egged Suyu on. They all believed that Suyu wouldn't play with a woman in the bedroom, let alone play with things that couldn't be touched. You didn't really go into the bedroom, did you? Jiang Shaowei looked at Suyu and asked with a frown. I didn't go back in the bedroom, Suyu denied. Then where were you and who were you with? You can provide witnesses and we will collect evidence. Gao Ran looked at Suyu and continued. Suyu lowered his head and his heart was in turmoil. If he didn't explain, it would be troublesome. He would be considered the murderer. If he explained, then Huamin's reputation. Chapter 902. Say something, Lord Su. Wei Liao couldn't stay calm anymore. I can't say. Then you can't prove your innocence. As the owner of this house, there were witnesses who said that you were in your bedroom and the victim jumped from your bedroom. You're the only one missing from the surveillance footage. Young Master Su, we have reason to believe that you have something to do with this. Please cooperate with us and follow us back to the station for investigation. Gao Ran was a very upright person. Although he was usually joking around, he had a sharp tongue. However, when it came to handling cases, he was swift and decisive. He wouldn't give face to Suyu just because the other party was Suyu. He still wanted to do business as usual. Suyu nodded. Okay, I'll go back with you. You can also investigate what happened. Watching Suyu follow Gao Ran's car back to the police station, everyone's expression became complicated. I feel like Lord Su is protecting someone. Could it be the real murderer? Tang Chuan said hesitantly. Jiang Shaowei said coldly, I feel like someone is deliberately framing Suyu and making him the scapegoat. Wei Liao nodded. I agree, I think so too. Even Zhao Qingya has never entered Lord Su's bedroom. He wouldn't bring a strange woman there. So they don't believe that Suyu has something to do with this. But where did Lord Su go when he disappeared? Tang Chuan asked. Jiang Shaowei was silent. Wei Liao was silent. Wei Liao looked at Suyu's female assistant and waved his hand. When did President Su leave the house? Around 8 p.m. Where did he go? The female assistant shook her head. I don't know, but President Su said that if anyone asked, we should tell them that he went back to his bedroom. Wow. What a coincidence, Tang Chuan sighed. So you wouldn't be so stupid. If he really did it, he wouldn't have taken the initiative to tell others that he was in the bedroom. So, is this a coincidence or is someone trying to frame you? Tang Chuan continued to ask. We'll have to wait for the police's conclusion. The group of people were worried sick and sick at heart. They were no longer in the mood to stay. The news of Suyu being taken away and the murder in the Su family's villa spread like wildfire. The reporters who were squatting at the door were worried that they wouldn't have anything to report, but now they had. A life had been lost at once. Therefore, most of the headlines on the second day were strange murder case occurred at Star Imperial's President Su's birthday banquet, suspected to be related to him, assisting police in investigation. When the Su family found out, they couldn't sit still. Old Master Su went directly to the police station to bail him out. The police chief was so scared that he wanted to get up and pour tea for him personally. Chief, why are you here? Bureau Chief Liao nodded and bowed. You arrested my grandson, so of course I have to bail him out. But this matter hasn't been investigated thoroughly yet, Chief. Bureau Chief Liao seemed to be in a difficult position. There were so many pairs of eyes watching and so many media outlets were paying attention to this matter. If he let Suyu out directly, he might be scolded by the people for being an idiot. Then can I see my grandson first? Master Lord Su's face was full of anger. Yes, this way please. Bureau Chief Liao led Master Lord Su all the way to the interrogation room. Suyu was treated well and was drinking tea. Grandpa, why are you here? You little brat, such a big thing happened, how can I not come? Master Lord Su looked at his grandson with heartache. I'm fine. You're still laughing? Tell me the truth, what happened? Master Lord Su asked angrily. Grandpa, it really has nothing to do with me. I don't know that woman and I've never been to the crime scene. I knew it. You didn't do it, right? Master Lord Su knew his grandson well. If Suyu said he didn't do it, then he definitely didn't. Did you hear that? It's not my grandson. Hurry up and let him go, Master Lord Su ordered stubbornly. Bureau Chief Liao looked like he was about to cry. Old Chief, don't make it difficult for me, okay? If I find out the truth, I'll definitely let him go. It's okay, I'm not afraid of the investigation. You guys investigate properly, I also want to know who did it. Suyu was full of confidence. Just then Gao Ran walked in with some documents. He walked up to Bureau Chief Liao and said, Bureau Chief, the test results are out. The victim took drugs before she died and the urine test was positive. She wasn't sexually assaulted, but... Continue, Bureau Chief Liao ordered. But there were traces of young Master Su's skin under the victim's fingernails, so... We have reason to believe that the victim was in contact with him, or that he pushed her down the stairs. Are you fucking kidding me? Suyu was furious when he heard this. He stood up and pointed at Gao Ran. Chapter 903. I'm not joking with you. Director Liao, take a look. This is the test report. Then Gao Ran handed him the report. Director Liao's expression was serious after reading it. Old Chief, this... Director Liao seemed to be in a difficult position. Although he couldn't afford to offend Chief Su, the law was the same as the law. However, if the emperor broke the law, he would be punished the same as the commoners. Moreover, all the media outlets were reporting on this matter. If he publicly bailed Suyu out, the consequences would be unimaginable. I guarantee with my military rank that my grandson would never do such a thing. Old Master Su was furious as well. He had watched his grandson grow up and had been in the military for so many years. He still had a sense of right and wrong. No matter how much trouble he caused, he wouldn't do such a heinous thing. I know, Chief. I also believe that young Master Su wouldn't. But now that we have evidence, we are in a difficult position. At this moment, Suyu looked at his grandfather and suddenly said, "Grandpa, you should go home first." Old Master Lord Su looked at Suyu with heartache, as if he had 1,000 things to say. "Grandpa, trust me, I didn't do it. I want to get to the bottom of this. I don't want to take the blame for nothing. You should go, I'll stay and continue to cooperate with the investigation." You. Old Master Lord Su looked at his grandson with a frown, extremely conflicted. Suyu held his grandfather's hand. Trust me. The men of the Su family won't be tripped up so easily." Finally, Old Master Su let out a long sigh. Then he said, "Grandpa will wait for you at home." Finally, Old Master Su drove away. The media went crazy with the news. Some people even posted on forums that Suyu's murder was proven. The military chief's grandfather went to the police station to negotiate, but to no avail. As soon as this post came out, everyone was in an uproar. Suyu looked down and carefully recalled everything that happened last night. He vaguely remembered that in the chaos, a woman seemed to have fallen. Then he reached out his hand like a gentleman. The woman's nails were too long and accidentally scratched the back of his hand. Was the skin shavings from that time? He didn't even see what the woman looked like before he turned around and left. Why would he care if she was Zhao Qingya's sister? Besides, why didn't he know that Zhao Qingya had a younger sister? Was she really trying to take revenge for her sister and frame him? How did a woman without any power do it? First of all, how did she get into the villa without an invitation? A series of questions appeared in Suyu's mind. He lowered his head and tried to recall what had happened. He was trying to find a breakthrough. Jiang Xiaowei told Huamin what had happened over the phone. Huamin listened quietly. "Huamin, do you think Suyu is the murderer?" Jiang Xiaowei asked over the phone. "Of course not," Huamin denied directly. "But he did disappear for a while, about 10 minutes or so. Even the surveillance cameras couldn't find him. We asked him, but he wouldn't tell us. Between 8:08 and 8:20, Suyu didn't explain himself either. We were all confused." Jiang Xiaowei continued to complain. Huamin's heart sank. That was when she met Suyu. Of course, the surveillance cameras couldn't see it because Suyu jumped over the wall. But why didn't Suyu tell the truth? Was it to protect her reputation? Huamin fell into deep thought. Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei called his name twice over the phone. Only then did Huamin come back to his senses. Continue. "Huamin, if Zhao Qingya really jumped off the building to frame Suyu to get revenge, do you think she's capable enough to do it? Do you think she had an accomplice?" "I'm not sure, the police will have to investigate." "Yeah, the Gao Ran has been investigating and our director is furious. He's made this a top priority. This morning, Chief Su went to bail Suyu out, but he didn't. The results showed that Suyu's skin was under the victim's fingernails. He's in big trouble now." "How did this happen?" Huamin frowned slightly. He didn't think that things would be so serious. Chapter 904. "Uncle Li, why are you here?" When Suyu saw Li Zhongtong, he was quite surprised. He was a famous lawyer in the country, and most importantly, he was the lawyer used by the heads of state in the military region. He had a top law firm in Beijing, and his disciples were all famous lawyers in the country. "Your grandfather called me, so I immediately flew over." Li Zhongtong was someone that Lord Su valued very much. Every time he went to Beijing for a meeting, they would definitely drink tea and chat. Now that he was using such a powerful person, he definitely didn't want anything to happen to his grandson. In fact, Lord Su's feelings were understandable. "My grandfather's making a big deal out of nothing, huh?" Su giggled and played dumb. "It's a matter of life and death. Do you think it's making a big deal out of nothing? Do you know how serious the crime of premeditated murder is?" "I know, but I didn't kill anyone. I'm innocent." "You're innocent, not with your mouth. We need evidence now," Lawyer Li said sternly. "Uncle Li, it's not that serious. You're thinking too much. Little brat, you don't know anything. Cut the crap. Answer my questions." Suyu nodded and didn't dare to be negligent. "The victim's name is Zhao Xia, Zhao Qingya's younger sister. Zhao Qingya has been in prison for a while. Outsiders don't know, but her family does." So she might be taking revenge on purpose, right? It should be, otherwise she wouldn't have sacrificed her life to frame me. I have no grudge against her. Suyu analyzed. Have you met Zhao Xiao before? No, I've never seen her before. Then why is there your dandruff tissue under her fingernails? Lawyer Lee asked slowly as he fiddled with the recording pen. There were a lot of people at the birthday party yesterday, and many of them were female companions brought by the guests. I didn't know any of them. At that time a girl fell down and I didn't see her face clearly. When I helped her up, her fingernails were quite long and she scratched me. I thought it was unintentional, so I didn't pay much attention to it. That might be the only time she had skin contact with me. Yes, your house's surveillance has been tampered with. It's very interesting. There are surveillance cameras outside, but only the ones inside the villa are missing. Also, the surveillance cameras found that you had finally left for more than 10 minutes, but there was no trace of you in any corner. So, where did you go? Uncle Lee, don't ask any more. This question, the police have asked me countless times already. I won't answer. But this question is very important. If you explain it clearly, you might be able to clear your name. No, I can't say. Who are you protecting? Lawyer Lee asked. Suyu reached out his hand and touched the corner of his eye. His expression was complicated. You have to think about it carefully. If someone wants to frame you, this scheme is too meticulous. Maybe the person you're protecting is one of them. Don't be fooled by her. She won't, Uncle Lee. I know her well. Is it a woman? Lawyer Lee asked tentatively. Don't ask any more. I won't say anything. I really didn't do anything. I didn't go into the bedroom, I didn't see Zhao Xiao, I didn't force her to eat those things, I didn't push her downstairs or anything. Okay, I understand. Uncle Lee, don't let my grandpa continue investigating. If I don't want to say anything, then it means that it's very important to me. If you want to investigate the person I'm protecting because you want to clear my name, then I won't forgive you. Siyu was actually very worried. Once his grandpa used his power, it was too scary. Huamin would definitely be found out. If his grandpa found out, it would cause an even bigger commotion. So Siyu said the ugly things first. Lawyer Lee didn't say anything. He only said, "You little brat, you've grown up. You're a real man now." Siyu didn't know if this was a compliment or a derogatory one. He was just worried that his grandpa wouldn't vent his anger on more people. Huamin was restless the entire day. When he had dinner with Qin Chu, his eyes were also wandering. "Honey, what's wrong?" Qin Chu put down his chopsticks and asked. Chapter 905. Honey, I want to talk to you about something, huh? What is it? Didn't I go to the birthday party yesterday? Suyu's party, I told you about it before. Yeah. I wanted to return the bullet shell to him, but he didn't want it. He said that he wouldn't take back what he gave away. I don't have to use the bullet shell and I can throw it away, but I don't want to return it. Okay, then just leave it there. Qin Chu didn't think it was necessary to make a big deal out of it since it was just a bullet shell. I snuck out, you know that, right? I didn't want to be a bad influence, so Suyu snuck out to see me. We talked for about 10 minutes and when I left, it was exactly 8:20 p.m. Honey, what are you trying to say? Qin Chu could tell that Huamin was beating around the bush and her gaze was very evasive. So he asked her directly, "Honey, did you know that something happened to Suyu?" Yes, the whole city is talking about it. Qin Chu nodded and didn't deny it. Actually, I heard from Jiang Xiaowei that Suyu disappeared from the surveillance cameras, and that's why he's being suspected. He was with me for about 10 minutes and we were talking, so I'm his only witness. So what do you want to do? Qin Chu's expression became complicated. He seemed to have guessed what his wife was going to say. Honey, I want to testify for Suyu. No, Qin Chu refused without hesitation. Honey, why not? Huamin bit her lip and looked at Qin Chu pitifully. It's simple. If you go, you won't be able to explain yourself. Think about it. What would people think if GK's a young lady was with Suyu at 8 o'clock at night, in a corner where the surveillance cameras can't see? But if I don't testify, he'll be wronged. Jiang Xiaowei said that Suyu didn't want to talk for more than 10 minutes. I guess he wanted to protect me. The more he does this, the more uneasy I feel. I know what I'll face if I testify. But honey, as long as you trust me, I don't care what others say. Huamin felt that Qin Chu would understand her, however she had overestimated Qin Chu's heart. After all, Qin Chu loved her deeply. How could he not care about this matter? Especially when that person was Suyu. Mion, you need to know that with Suyu's family background he can get away without you being a witness. Do you know who his grandfather hired? Li Zhongtong, do you know who he is? He's a famous lawyer in Jing City. He's never lost a case. Qin Chu was well aware of this, so he knew that Suyu would be fine. At most, it would be a little troublesome and he'd have to stay at the police station for a few more days. Huamin put down her chopsticks and looked at Qin Chu seriously. I know that his grandfather hired a lawyer and I know that the lawyer is very good. I also know that the Su family won't lose the case. So you will be fine. Then what are you going to do? Qin Chu was obviously jealous. He thought that Huamin was too nervous. Was it because she was worried about Suyu? Although he didn't want to think that way, he was still unhappy to see Huamin so worried about Suyu. I'm going because I can testify at the police station and get Gao Ran to drop the case. You know how much damage it will do to Suyu's reputation if the case goes to court. But do you know how much damage it will do to you if you go? Is Suyu more important to you than yourself? Perhaps Qin Chu was angry, so he didn't know what to say. Huamin was slightly surprised. Then he looked at Qin Chu with disappointment. What do you mean by that? You know what I mean. I won't let you go. I advise you not to do that. After speaking, Qin Chu got up and left the dining table. He went straight upstairs to the study. They hadn't argued in a long time. Now because of Suyu they were very unhappy. Huamin felt like someone poured a bucket of water on his head. Huamin once saw a particularly good saying on Weibo. In a man's world they will always think that if you love me you won't leave me. In a woman's world they will always think that if you love me you will come and find me. So in the end you didn't ask me to stay and I didn't turn back. Many lovers were like this. They were so angry that they missed each other for life. Because both of them had different thoughts, Qin Chu felt that Huamin cared about Suyu and was worried about Suyu, so he was full of jealousy. Huamin, on the other hand, felt that because of his appearance, Suyu left the surveillance cameras and was suspected. So he wanted to clarify the matter. He wanted to prove Suyu's innocence. She turned on her phone and logged into Weibo wanting to write something, but to her surprise she saw that Suyu had sent her a private message. She slowly opened it, and when she saw what he said her heart ached. Chapter 906. Because Suyu wrote, "Stupid girl, I know you're a loyal person so you'll probably feel uneasy when you hear that something happened to me, so I'm reminding you not to come to the police station to testify for me. I'm the son of a wealthy family so even if I don't need you I'll still be fine. I'll just be drinking tea at the police station for 2 days so don't be stupid. Otherwise when I get out I'll peel your skin and pull out your tendons." Suyu's words were too Suyu's style. It was ridiculously awesome and it even contained a threat. It was domineering. However, Huamin knew all too well that he was still worried about implicating her, so he warned her not to go. But the more he was like this, the more uneasy Huamin felt. She wasn't Mary Sue, so she wouldn't be overflowing with compassion and want to save everyone. She just saw through the fickleness of human nature over the years, so she knew how to be grateful and know how to repay a drop of water with a spring. Because in this world, no one has the obligation to treat you well without asking for anything in return. She remembered that not long ago she saw a very popular post on her WeChat moments. Many people want to treat you to dinner at night, but few can buy you breakfast. Many people want to treat you to drinks, but few can take care of you when you're drunk. Many people care about you when you're sick, but few can take you to the doctor and buy you medicine. Many people want to add flowers to your brocade, but few can help you when you're in need. Many people want to pursue you, but few are willing to be responsible for you. Many people talk big, but few can help you when you're in trouble. So we must cherish those friends who are worth cherishing. If Huamin had never treated Suyu as a friend before, then at this moment she was going to break her promise. Because there were really too few friends like Suyu. Strangers wouldn't protect you without caring about anything. Huamin felt that if she didn't do anything and continued to pretend to be mute, then watched Suyu go in and out of the police station, her conscience would be uneasy. She wouldn't be able to sleep well at night. She was silent for a long time and finally replied to Suyu. "From this moment on you Suyu are my friend Huamin." When he saw the reply, Suyu was overjoyed. He was as happy as a child who had won first place in an exam. In the middle of the night he sat on the chair in the interrogation room. It was boring and he drank pot after pot of tea and coffee. It was said that the police officers would organize the information and start to prosecute him tomorrow before going to court. Although it would take some time, he believed that he would definitely be acquitted. Firstly, it was because she did not do those things. Secondly, it was because Uncle Lee had never lost a lawsuit. It was just a small punishment. Many actresses from Imperial Star were coming to visit, including Jian Tong, Wei Liao, and Tang Chuan. However, Suyu refused to meet him. The reason was simple. He didn't want to repeat the same thing over and over again. He wouldn't tell them where he went in those 10 minutes. In fact, everyone really wanted to know what and who Suyu was protecting. When Huamin returned to the bedroom, Qin Chu was still in the study. She knew that he was angry. Huamin went in, took a hot shower and went to bed. Then she set the alarm and went to sleep. She didn't think she did anything wrong. Qin Chu didn't believe her. He was thinking too much. It was good for him to calm down. Qin Chu didn't come in until it was almost dawn. Looking at Huamin, who was sleeping soundly, his eyes turned from cold to gentle. Although he was still angry at her, he still thought she was cute when she slept. He couldn't get enough of her. In the study, he smoked a whole pack of cigarettes. He finished all 20 small Russian cigars. He was in a bad mood. However, thinking about it, Huamin was probably just asking for his opinion. If he didn't agree, she probably wouldn't make the decision. After all, this matter had a huge impact. When Huamin woke up in the morning, Qin Chu was already gone. There was warm milk and sandwiches on the table. Even if they were in a cold war, he didn't forget to make her breakfast. Huamin's heart warmed. She finished the milk and drove to the police station. Huamin, why are you here? Gao Ran was surprised to see Huamin so early in the morning. Gao Ran, I want to testify for Suyu, Huamin said word by word. What did you say? Gao Ran was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 907. Gao Ran. Suyu refused to say that he disappeared from the surveillance cameras at 8:08 that day because he was with me at that time. Gao Ran was even more surprised. Then Huamin roughly explained the entire situation. Gao Ran was completely petrified. It took him a while to react. But, you have no proof. How do you prove that you were outside the mansion at that time? Gao Ran was a police officer, so he was very particular about evidence. I didn't drive that day, so I took a taxi. Because it was rush hour and there was traffic, it wasn't easy to get a taxi. So I used a taxi app and paid for it. Now I still have the amount and the driver's phone number in my phone. You can check it. Hey, Huamin, you're amazing. Gao Ran knew that Huamin was a very meticulous person. Once he came, he must have thought about a lot of things. So, can you let Suyu go now? Huamin asked softly. Gao Ran was silent for a moment and asked back, Huamin, does Qin Chu know that you're testifying for Suyu? Huamin bit his lip and said quietly, he didn't want me to come because he was afraid that my reputation would be damaged and that I would be under a lot of pressure. Then why did you still do it? But this is my bottom line. Gao Ran, I can't just watch Suyu go to court to protect me. I know he won't lose, but once he goes to court, his reputation will be tarnished. We're both human beings. Why should I protect my own interests and let a friend who's trying to protect me go to court? I really can't do that. I, Huamin, am not a saint. I can't save the world, but I will never let my friend get hurt because of me. I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. After hearing Huamin's words, Gao Ran nodded in understanding. In fact, Huamin was a very stubborn person. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind easily. Moreover, she was especially unwilling to implicate others, so being able to testify was very much in line with her personality. As for Qin Chu, Gao Ran still felt that the aftermath of this matter could develop very badly. So she asked again worriedly, Huamin, it's not too late to regret now. I'll pretend that I never saw you. You can leave. Let's go. I still have to go to work after testifying. Time is precious. After speaking, Huamin took the lead and walked in. Gao Ran knew that he definitely could not stop them. Huamin made a detailed statement at the police station and provided a lot of details. In the end, after careful consideration, he found that it was reasonable. With Huamin as a witness, Suyu's name was immediately cleared. Interrogation room. Gao Ran walked in, looked at Suyu and said faintly, Can you go now? Go. Aren't you going to sue me? Suyu asked Gao Ran in return. No, someone is here to testify for you, Gao Ran said as he looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. To be honest, Gao Ran didn't like Suyu. This was because he personally witnessed the love between Chin-Chu and Huamian in high school. He knew very well how much Chin-Chu loved Huamin, so he didn't want anyone to get involved. Testify for me? Siyu stood up with a whoosh. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Don't look at me like that. Huamin really did come. You should know that in your heart. She's the only witness. How could she? Siyu frowned. He had threatened her and told her not to come. Why did she still come? This woman was so arrogant that she treated his words like farts. So you're free now. Congratulations, Gao Ran said coldly. Then he opened the door and left. When Siyu walked out of the police station, a lot of reporters surrounded him. President Su, do you have anything to say about this case? President Su, did the police release him? Was it because of the pressure from the Su family, or because you were cleared of suspicion? Can you tell us more? President Su, didn't you say you were going to sue? Why did they suddenly release him? Was there a turning point for the better? Did the police find new leads? Can you tell us more? Faced with the swarm of reporters, Suyu's mind went blank. Right now he only wanted to see one person. Huamin. He wanted to see her immediately. The feeling was so strong. Without a care, he walked straight into his sports car without saying a word. Dozens of cars came to pick up Suyu. They put his beloved car, the Lamborghini Elemental, at the top of the list. He got into the sports car and drove straight to Southside Recuperation Center. Chapter 908. Huamin finished his rounds and was about to head back to his office to organize his files. That was when Suyu arrived. He had been at the police station for 48 hours, so he didn't even have time to shave. He looked messy and beautiful. When he saw Huamin, he strode over. Without saying a word, he grabbed Huamin's arm. Huamin jumped in fright. What are you doing? Huamin was surprised to see Suyu. Shouldn't he go home and tell his family that he was safe? Stupid girl, why did I send you a private message on Weibo last night? Huamin remained silent. Do you think I'm bullshitting? Suyu asked angrily. Huamin remained silent. Speak. This was the first time he spoke to her in such a harsh tone because he was really angry. It's my job to be a witness. You didn't intend to commit murder, so why did you have to go to court? Huamin raised his head and asked Suyu word for word, I told you I can take care of it myself. But if you go to court, even if you win, your reputation will be tarnished. I don't want you to be accused of murder for the rest of your life. I don't want people to use this as a joke to make fun of you. But do you know how serious the consequences of doing this are? Do you know what you'll have to face if the police reveal the reason why I'm innocent? You'll be condemned by everyone. Huamin, are you crazy? Do you think you're God? Why don't you go to heaven? Suyu was furious. Huamin stepped forward and helped him, but he put himself in danger. This wasn't what he wanted. What's wrong with that? I don't care what other people think. What about Chin-Chu? Will he understand you? Suyu asked coldly. Huamin remained silent. Chin-Chu had always understood her, but this was the only thing he couldn't understand. You're too impulsive. You're just one step away. As long as I go to court today, I can go home and everything will be over. But I will feel guilty for the rest of my life, Huamin said word by word. Suyu was slightly stunned when he heard this. Suyu, I have my own principles. You don't have to teach me what to do. If I, Huamin, want to do something, even 10 bulls can't pull me back. On the contrary, if I don't want to do something, even if you chop off my head, I won't be moved. You don't have to be so angry, and you don't have to be moved by me helping you. This is what I should do. I'm that important witness, and you were with me when you were under suspicion. No matter what others say, you didn't kill anyone. You're innocent. And now I have a clear conscience. Now you can go now. After speaking, Huamin turned around and walked into her office as if nothing had happened. She slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Suyu stood at the door, stunned. For a moment he actually had the urge to hug her fiercely. But he resisted the urge. Huamin. This name was deeply ingrained in his heart. Huamin had become a special kind of religion in his heart. This woman was unbelievably arrogant. She had a halo around her that he couldn't extricate himself from. After Suyu came out, the Public Security Bureau released an official Weibo post. They wrote down Huamin's testimony in detail, including the location and time of their meeting. They also wrote down the number of Huamin's taxi driver and the route they took. As soon as this news came out, Weibo forums and all the major media outlets immediately blew up. Huamin was pushed to the center of attention. Her Weibo was flooded by tens of thousands of people. Most of the comments were scolding her, and the one with the most comments was pinned at the top. Shameless woman. She already has Chin Chu, but she still flirted with Su Yu. What a bitch. Huamin scrolled through her Weibo without batting an eyelid. She was already used to this kind of slander. Moreover, when she went to the police station, she had already expected this kind of ending. At this moment, her phone beeped. She received a WeChat message. She thought it was from Lingling or Xiaowei. However, she didn't expect it to be from Chin Chu. It was just 6 simple words, but it cut Huamin's heart like a knife. Chin Chu said, "I'm very disappointed in you." Chapter 909. Yes, Chin Chu said that he was disappointed in her, and this sentence was more painful than anything else. She hesitated for a long time before finally replying, "I don't think I did anything wrong." Yes, until now she still didn't think she did anything wrong. Only by testifying for Su Yu would she not feel guilty and would she feel righteous. After waiting for a long time, Chin Chu still didn't reply. She knew that he was really angry. Before she got off work, Zhu Lingling, Jiang Xiaowei and the others bombarded her with calls and WeChat messages. She wasn't in the mood to reply. She simply replied with a sentence and then rejected them with the excuse that she needed to see a patient. In the afternoon, she went to the VIP room on the top floor to see Ni Yang. Ni Yang was also paying attention to this incident and even posted on Weibo to support her. However, he lost a lot of fans because everyone thought that he was trying to suck up to a young lady of GK. When they were at the door, Sister Ingzi specifically asked Huamian to comfort Ni Yang. "Hey, patients aren't allowed to play computer games. Put it down." As soon as Huamin walked in, she began to lecture Ni Yang. Ni Yang turned around and saw that it was Huamin. He immediately put down the tablet in his hand. "Oh my, Huamin, how can you still laugh? The world outside is turning upside down." "Am I supposed to cry?" Huamin walked over and sat down across from Ni Yang. She picked up an orange, peeled it and handed it to Ni Yang. "Oranges and kiwis are high in vitamin C. Remember to eat more." "Sister Huamin, you're all over the news right now, do you know that?" "I know. You've been defamed so badly. I went on Weibo to help you and got defamed. A lot of people can't tell right from wrong and turned from fans to haters. Fuck. There are so many idiots who don't know the truth." Ni Yang knew what kind of person Huamin was, so he stood up for him. "As a public figure, you shouldn't be so irrational. You even went to argue with your fans. You must be drunk. Hurry up and delete your Weibo." "No, I've already said that I'll support you to the end." Ni Yang was resolute. "Those people must be scolding you for having bad morals, right?" Huamin asked with a smile. How did you know?" "Sister, you really can predict things like a god. Just think about it. They must be repeating the same words over and over again." Huamin was very calm. He peeled another orange for himself and ate it. "But what's going on? You're not really having an affair with Su Yu, are you?" Cough cough. "What about our legs? Thinking brat. Do you also think I'm that kind of woman?" "Of course not, I just think that you might have been touched by Su Yu, ha. After all, the song he sang last time, even I was moved." Those in the know all knew that the song was for Huamin, not Jian Tong. Huamin licked his lips and didn't say anything else. "Forget it, let's not talk about this. Get ready for the surgery in the next few days." "So soon? You've already decided?" "Yes, we've been preparing for a long time. We're just waiting for the surgeons to arrive. One of them went out of town for a meeting and we're waiting for him. To make sure that nothing goes wrong, we've assigned 1 surgeon and 3 assistants." "That's so grand, it's perfect." Ni Yang was in a good mood and smiled. "Of course, you're my little brother. How could I make you worry? So you need to get well. When you're better, you need to focus on acting and bring glory to GK film and television, okay?" Huamin lovingly patted Ni Yang's head. When Jixin wasn't home, she treated Ni Yang like her own little brother and felt very close to him. Ni Yang nodded. "Don't worry, I won't let you down." Huamin, don't worry about what other people say, just be yourself." "Okay." Huamin nodded and left the VIP room. When it was time to get off work, Chin Chu still hadn't called. She took out her phone several times and wanted to call him, but she didn't have the courage. She was afraid that Chin Chu wouldn't pick up or would just hang up. GK Corporation. After Huamin's negative news broke out, Assistant Yang couldn't stay calm anymore. He saw with his own eyes that his boss's face was as cold as ice. "Sir, it's time to get off work. Assistant Yang looked at his watch and carefully reminded him. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He sat in front of his desk with a gloomy expression. Chapter 9-10. You guys can leave now. Qin Chu's voice was cold. It was the first time Yang had seen his boss in such a low mood. He didn't yell at them, he didn't give them orders, and he didn't vent his anger on them. He just sat there quietly, making Yang's heart ache. As soon as a young lady's negative news was exposed, the PR department came over to ask if they should deal with it. But the president didn't answer. She went to help Suyu, so why did GK have to deal with it for her? How could he not be upset? Plus, at a time like this, any PR statement would be a joke. T-City Jiang Linyue was in a great mood when she saw the news. Got his eyes. Huamin, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Jiang Linyue was basically exiled from T-City. She didn't even attend the 30-year anniversary. She hated Huamin to the extreme, so she wanted something to happen to her as soon as possible. She didn't think that she would be slandered so quickly, or rather she set a trap for herself. It was karma. Jiang Linyue guessed that President Qin must be in a bad mood right now. So she picked up the company's landline and dialed the president's office. His secretary and assistant had already gotten off work, but Qin Chu was still at the company, so he picked up the phone. Jiang Linyue was ecstatic when she heard Qin Chu's voice. President Qin, I'm Jiang Linyue. What's up? Qin Chu asked coldly. President Qin, here's the thing. I'm working overtime at the company, and I ran into a problem that I didn't know how to deal with. I thought you might still be at work, so I called you. Please forgive me if I offended you. Jiang Linyue had always pretended to be a lady in front of Qin Chu, trying to gain his favor. However, she never knew that Qin Chu liked Huamin not because Huamin was a lady. In other words, Huamin wasn't a lady at all. He just liked her no matter what she was like, even if she had flaws. Speak. Qin Chu was frustrated. He didn't want to deal with Jiang Linyue, but he didn't want to mix business with personal life. It's like this. Wasn't there a change of people here? A group of employees also left with their former boss. According to the company's usual practice, if they suddenly quit without waiting for us to find a replacement, they won't be paid. But these people are unreasonable and come to the company every day to make trouble. I don't know if I should call the police or what to do. I've never been in charge of something like this before. Settle the bill for them, Qin Chu said faintly. But they are all traitors, the kind that suddenly left the company. They are still employees of the company after all. They should be paid for their work. Hey President Qin, I'll listen to you. That's all then. Qin Chu was just about to hang up when Jiang Linyue suddenly said, President Qin, wait. What's the matter? Qin Chu was obviously impatient. President Qin, if it's possible, I'd like to return to the corporation. I think the design department is more suitable for me. I don't want to be a boss, I just want to quietly work under you as an employee. Jiang Linyue said pitifully, we'll talk about it later. After speaking, Qin Chu hung up. He really didn't care about Jiang Linyue because his mind was filled with Huamin. He wanted to go home, he wanted to see her, but he was angry because of her stubbornness. He was very disappointed, but she still did it. She even shamelessly said that she wasn't in the wrong. Qin Chu picked up his phone and looked at it over and over again, but there was no response. After Huamin got off work, she didn't go back to Imperial Park or South Hill Manor. Instead, she went straight to Sky Blessing Court. After Jixing left, she spent more time with her mother. Mom, I'm so hungry, do you have food? Huamin asked as soon as she walked in. Yes, but it's probably cold now. I'll heat it up. Thanks, Mom. Because her mother didn't know the internet and didn't read the newspaper, she didn't know what was going on outside. Huamin thought that home was the quietest place in the world. Just then her phone rang. She thought it was Qin Chu and immediately picked it up. Oh. Little sister Mian, do you want to come out for a drink? My treat. It was Hu Xiqian's voice. Chapter 9-11. If it was any other day, Huamin would definitely say no. But today she had been suppressing her emotions all day and wanted to drink. Therefore she said, if I go out to drink with you at this time and someone takes a picture of me, wouldn't that make things worse? You're not even afraid of the rumors about you and Suyu? Why would you be afraid of me? Hu Xiqian sneered. When Huamin heard this, she actually thought that he made a lot of sense. Tell me, where do you want to meet? 4 Square Street Old Town Bar, I'll wait for you. After speaking, Hu Xiqian hung up the phone. Huamin got up and put on her jacket. You're going out? Yang Meong walked out and asked curiously. Mom, I'm sorry but I can't eat anymore. Please, I'm going out for a bit but I'll be back tonight. Remember to leave the door open for me. After speaking, Huamin walked out the door and hailed a taxi to meet up with her. 20 minutes later. 4 Square Street Old Town Bar. It was a dimly lit bar with very few people. Huamin walked in wearing a black cashmere coat, black heels, white gloves and a scarf. She was dressed like a Korean drama. Hua Xiqian was wearing a coffee-colored leather jacket and slim-fit trousers. He was still as handsome as ever. The truth was he had always been quite good-looking but his aura was too dark. Therefore Huamin and Qin Chu didn't really like him. I thought you wouldn't come. Hua Xiqian smiled as she held a cocktail in her hand. Huamin didn't say anything. She sat in front of the bar stool, looked at the bartender and said in a dull voice, "A dozen Budweisers." You don't drink cocktails? No, the alcohol content is too low. Huamin was quite the tomboy. Hall. I like how you act cool. Hua Xiqian laughed. Huamin picked up a bottle of Budweiser and downed it in one gulp. Hua Xiqian narrowed his eyes and looked at Huamin in the dim light. He found that she was still as beautiful as she had been 7 years ago. She was just as stubborn and stubborn. Huamin's personality would cause people to have two extremes in their lives. He would either love them the most or hate them the most. There would never be anything in between. Su Yu and Qin Chu, Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Linglin, they all loved Huamin very much, whether it was as a friend or a lover. Jiang Linyue, He Man, Zhao Qingya and Song Yisha all hated Huamin, whether they were rivals in love or enemies. Hua Xiqian was the only one who had a love-hate relationship with her. He loved her because no matter how many years had passed, her heart remained unchanged. It was as if she was still that stubborn and pretentious little girl from many years ago. He hated her because her gaze never lingered on him for long. Even if he missed her so much and cared about her. He once said that Huamin only had eyes for Qin Chu. It was as if all the men in the world were dead. He couldn't accept this kind of contempt. It was also a torturous process for any man who loved Huamin. If you knew this would happen, why did you still do it? With your brain, you shouldn't have let yourself get stuck in this mess. Hua Xiqian's words were like pearls of wisdom. He put away his usual playful face and spoke in a serious tone. Huamin picked up the second bottle of Budweiser and drank half of it in one gulp. Then she shook the other half. She slowly said, "Because I'm Huamin." Hua Xiqian's gaze became deep. A strange light seemed to dance in his eyes. She was right. She was the only one who didn't play by the rules. That was why there was such a unique Huamin in the world. I thought you wouldn't go against Qin Chu. It's one thing for me to love him, but it's another for me to be a person. There's no conflict. I don't think I disobeyed Qin Chu. I just think it's my way of being a person, that's all, Huamian said slowly. Since you did it, why do you look so depressed? If I'm not mistaken, you guys fought? Hua Xiqian probed. After hearing this, Huamin's gaze became slightly lonely. We didn't fight. It would be great if we did, Huamin slowly said. Then you're in a cold war, right? Hua Xiqian continued to ask. Sometimes fighting was also a way of communicating. Fighting wasn't scary, but fighting without fighting was scary. A cold war was the scariest way to communicate. Chapter 9:12. Huamin didn't answer, but silence meant silence. Mian, have you ever thought that you and Qin Chu might not be suitable for each other? Hua Xiqian stared at Huamin's handsome side profile and said slowly. I used to think about it, but I didn't think about it after we got married. We've decided to be husband and wife for the rest of our lives. But, you have to know that some paths have to be flexible. You can't just walk down the same path until the end. You know it's a dead end, but you still have to walk down it. In the end, you'll end up with nothing and bruises all over your body. Is that really a good thing? Huamin fell silent. She had been through a lot with Qin Chu, and the only thing that kept them together was their love for each other. If love was gone one day, then what was the point of her and Qin Chu? Was it better to forget each other than to help each other in times of need? Many people didn't know each other at first, but they didn't forget each other in the end. Many stories started with I'll give you happiness, but ended with I wish you happiness. What about them? She was 24 years old and Qin Chu was 27. They got married half a year ago. Although it wasn't out of Huamin's will, Huamin truly loved Qin Chu. She thought that being together was the best ending for them. However, Hua Xiqian's words made her feel lost. Were they really not suitable for each other? Would they be better off if they were separated? When Qin Chu drove back to Imperial Park, he didn't see Huamin just as he expected. She didn't come back. Qin Chu called Uncle Li at South Hill Manor. Uncle Li said that she didn't go back there either. It seemed like she went back to Sky Blessing Court. According to the script, he was supposed to pick her up and coax her. In the end, they would reconcile. However, Qin Chu didn't do that this time. He was a little tired. He felt like Huamin didn't understand him. He had already analyzed the pros and cons so clearly. However, she still didn't care about his feelings and released this series of negative news. He could ignore the loss of GK's stock market, but money was just a worldly possession. But had she ever thought about how she would treat her husband? At this moment, Qin Chu's phone rang. He immediately picked it up and glanced at it. He was a little disappointed that it was not Huamin. Qin Chu, I'm Isher. Song Isher's voice was very gentle. Qin Chu's expression was very indifferent. Are you free now? I want to see you. Now? Qin Chu was a little surprised. Yes, I'm in the Imperial Park area. Why are you here? Qin Chu frowned slightly. I always felt that it wasn't very convenient to live with my parents. After all, our schedules are different, so I moved out and bought a house here. It's not very far from your house. Oh, after I saw the news today, I thought that you might be in a bad mood, so I wanted to see you. I'm not at Imperial Park, sorry. Qin Chu directly rejected Song Yisher. He was in a bad mood, but he didn't need another woman's safety. Okay, then let's meet another day. Song Yisher hung up the phone and looked at the Maybach Park downstairs. He was a little disappointed. It seemed like Qin Chu had always been wary of her. Even though he was in a cold war with Huamin, he still didn't want to see her. On the other side, Huamin had already drunk about 10 bottles of beer at the bar. However, he didn't look like he was about to get drunk. Don't drink anymore, Hua Xiqian gently advised. What? Didn't you want to treat me? Are you afraid that I'll make you poor? Huamin half joked. No, I'm afraid that your stomach is acting up. Huamin fell silent again. After a while she suddenly asked, Hua Xiqian, do you like me? Hua Xiqian's body trembled slightly when he heard this. He never thought that Huamin would ask him such a direct question. If I said yes, would you believe me? After a while he reacted and smiled at her. Chapter 9:13. Huamin placed the empty bottle on the bar with a bang. Then he looked at Hua Xiqian and smiled. Of course not. Why not? He tilted his head and looked at Huamin curiously. His eyes were filled with love and adoration. Because you're born with a mask on your face. Someone like you only loves yourself, why would you like someone else? If I'm not wrong, you don't like Mo Schweger at all, but she likes you a lot. That's why she keeps testing you, trying to find out who you like. She's suspected me before, right? You're smart, Hua Xiqian said softly. But maybe she doesn't know that people like you are just putting on a show with everyone. You just want the whole corporation. Don't worry, I don't want the inheritance, and you don't have to rack your brains to come up with ways to deal with me. You also don't have to use the excuse of liking me to mislead me. Because I'm not a threat to you. We've always wanted different things from each other. You know what I want? Hua Xiqian raised his eyebrows. You want the whole corporation, unparalleled power and endless money. Once you topple the old man, you'll be the number one of the whole corporation. Haha. Hua Xiqian smiled but didn't say anything. But I want a peaceful life. That's why we have different goals. But because we're both smart people, we're wary of each other. So that's what you think of me. Am I wrong? Huamin looked at him. No, your analysis is correct. Hua Xiqian licked his lips and finished the cocktail in his hand. When Huamin and Hua Xiqian walked out of the bar, she had already drunk 13 bottles of Budweiser. However, she wasn't drunk at all. You're a good drinker. Thanks for the drinks, bye. After saying goodbye to Hua Xiqian, Huamin hailed a taxi. Where are we going? Imperial Park, she blurted out. Then she realized that she had given her home address, not her mother's house. The taxi went straight to Imperial Park. Huamin thought that since he was already here, he might as well go upstairs. Anyway, Qin Chu was probably asleep at this time. At worst, he could just sleep in the guest room. However, she did not expect to see Song Yisher walking in with a lunchbox just as she arrived downstairs. Thus she stopped in her tracks. She looked at her phone. It was already 12:30 a.m. What was Song Yisher doing here? And he was even carrying supper? Did Chin Chu ask her out, or? She didn't dare to think. However, she was no longer in the mood to go upstairs. She just stood there like a fool downstairs, quietly standing there like a statue. Chin Chu was curious when he heard the doorbell. She only opened the door when she saw that it was Song Yisher. I saw your car downstairs, so I came up. You just came back, right? In order not to make Chin Chu feel awkward, Song Yisher asked on purpose. Because it had been more than 2 hours since she called him. Oh, Chin Chu answered faintly, but he had no intention of inviting Song Yisher in. I couldn't sleep last night and was a little hungry, so I went out to buy some food. I bought a lot, so I gave you a portion. I'm not hungry, Chin Chu said faintly. Eat, it's really delicious hot and sour noodles. I remember when we were young we loved it. Every time your nanny made it we would fight over it. I even cried because of the spiciness. Song Yisher reached out her hand, but Chin Chu had no choice but to take it. Thank you. Is Humin home? I brought her roasted corn. I heard that she likes it the most. Song Yisher pretended to ask. Before Chin Chu could say anything, a voice behind him said, Thank you, I really like corn. Then Humin walked out from behind him. He took Song Yisher's corn and ate it as he walked. Chin Chu, Song Yisher, both of them were dumbfounded. They thought it was an illusion. Humin shouldn't be home at this time because Song Yisher didn't see her car. Did you drink? Chin Chu frowned slightly when he smelled the strong smell of alcohol on her body. Chapter 9:14. Humin didn't answer. She turned around and looked at Song Yisher. It's so late, why did Miss Song come to my house? I couldn't sleep, so I went out to buy some food. I happened to pass by, so I brought some for you guys. I remember that you don't live here, right? Why did you come all the way here to bring us supper? Humin looked at her. I just moved here. It's not convenient to live with my parents at home. When I'm busy, my schedule isn't normal. I didn't want to disturb them, so I moved out. I asked a friend to find me a place to live, and I didn't expect it to be Imperial Park. What a coincidence. Humin raised his eyebrows. His gaze clearly said, Who are you trying to fool? Song Yisher smiled awkwardly. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so coincidental either. Humin, you're not thinking too much, are you? Of course not. Thank you for the corn, it was delicious. Humin raised the corn with a provocative look in her eyes. Seeing that Humin was back, Song Yisher's plan to spend some time alone with Chin Chu fell through. Therefore, she could only bite the bullet and say goodbye. Since I've brought the food, I won't disturb you guys any longer. Rest early. Honey, hurry up and send Miss Song off. She worked so hard to bring us corn, we can't let her come all the way here for nothing. Humin's words clearly had a deeper meaning. Chin Chu's face darkened. He didn't care about Song Yisher's corn at all. Instead, he was focused on Humin drinking again. How could he be so forgetful? Why are you like this? I just want you to send Miss Song off. Even if you don't want to, you can't show it on your face. If you do, Miss Song will feel really awkward. Humin looked at Chin Chu and smiled. Chin Chu still didn't say anything. Song Yisher, on the other hand, felt even more embarrassed after hearing what Humin said. She immediately waved her hand. No, I'm pretty close. I can go downstairs myself. You guys rest early, good night. After saying good night, Song Yisher ran out of the house. She realized that if she stayed any longer, what would Humin say? After Song Yisher left, Chin Chu asked faintly, Was it fun? What? I choked. Song Yisher, is your heart aching? Humin obviously did it on purpose. Upon hearing this, Chin Chu's expression turned even uglier. You know what I'm talking about. Estes, I'm to know? Alright, hurry up and eat your dinner while it's still hot. Don't waste Beauty Song's good intentions. Then Humin yawned and headed upstairs. She drank more than 10 bottles that night. She wasn't drunk, but she was very sleepy. Humin thought that since she was back, she might as well get some sleep. However, before she could take a few steps, Chin Chu dragged her back. Then he blocked her at the top of the stairs. He looked down at her condescendingly. Humin, what do you want? Funny. President Chin, you're asking a weird question. What do I want? What else could I want? If I didn't come back in time, I really want to know what you and Song Yisher would have done. Humin sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain. Actually, she didn't think that way. She trusted Chin Chu, but her mouth wouldn't let him off the hook. Chin Chu was already very angry because she testified for Suyu, so he ignored her for an entire night. He didn't call her, didn't send her a WeChat message, and didn't even pick her up from her parents' home. This was the first time she felt bad. It was like an adult giving a child a lollipop every day, but one day they suddenly stopped giving it to her. How could she feel good? Yeah, you came back at the wrong time. I didn't expect you to come back at all. Chin Chu was also very angry, so he spoke in a fit of pique. Chin Chu, good job. Hua Mian smiled, but her smile was bleak. Chin Chu looked at her, both loving and hating her, but he didn't know what to do with her. What about you? Didn't you do a good job too? You disregarded your own reputation, my reputation, and GK's reputation to help someone who doesn't even need your help. Hua Min, what are you thinking? Hua Min looked at him with a complicated expression and said, I shouldn't have come back tonight. Okay, I'm leaving. She felt like the two of them were too angry to communicate. She turned around and walked out. Chapter 9:15. Chin Chu picked her up from behind and threw her onto the sofa. He didn't use too much force, but he didn't use too much force either. She could tell that he was angry. Hua Min, we didn't even talk clearly. Are you going to leave just like that? Talk about what? What else is there to talk about? Hua Min sneered. I remember telling you my opinion. Why did you do it even though you knew it wasn't okay? Chin Chu didn't hold a grudge against Suyu, even though Suyu sang for Hua Min at GK's 30-year anniversary party. He had never been so jealous. But this time he really couldn't take it anymore. He didn't care what other people said, nor did he care about the pressure of public opinion. All he cared about was Hua Min's heart. He was afraid. He was afraid that Suyu was a different existence to Hua Min. It's funny. I'm an independent person, not your accessory. I discussed it with you because I respect you, but I don't have to accept your opinion. I've weighed this matter for a long time. I'm not a child, I know the pros and cons. But Chin Chu, I have my own principles as well. Everyone has their own standards. I think that if I don't stand up and testify, I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life. Why don't you say that you care about Suyu? Chin Chu was furious. What did you say? Hua Min stared at Chin Chu in disbelief. Chin Chu also realized that he was too impulsive. He didn't have the courage to say it again. Hua Min got up from the sofa and pushed Chin Chu away as if he wanted to leave. However, he couldn't break free. Let go of me, I won't. I'm going out. Where are you going? I'm going to find Suyu right now. Didn't you say that I care about him? Hua Min spoke without thinking. This was probably the most serious argument they had ever had. Both of them had said things that did not match their hearts. Upon hearing Hua Min's words, Chin Chu became even angrier. He pressed Hua Min firmly onto the sofa. Then he lowered his head and bit her slightly red lips. Hua Min struggled with all his might, but he couldn't push Chin Chu away. His tall body pressed down on her, making it impossible for her to breathe. His kiss was overwhelming and punishing. When he bit the corner of her lips, she felt a slight tearing pain. She was furious, but there was nothing she could do. Therefore, she hugged Chin Chu's neck and bit him back. Her strength was 10 times stronger than his. This bite instantly caused Chin Chu's lips to bleed. Their mouths were filled with the thick taste of blood. However, as stubborn as Chin Chu was, he still didn't let go of Hua Min despite the intense pain. Instead, it was an even more domineering, lingering feeling. In the end, both of them were exhausted and he finally let go. He was pushed away by Hua Min, who panted heavily. Hua Min lay on the sofa, exhausted. There were still traces of Chin Chu's blood in her mouth. She coughed lightly and forced herself up from the sofa. Meow. The truth was he wanted to say sorry. She paused for a moment, opened the door and left without a word. She didn't give him a chance to say sorry. Chin Chu was filled with regret. He opened the curtains and watched as Hua Min left the neighborhood. His heart ached again. Hua Min left Imperial Park and hailed a taxi. Sky Blessing Court, she said coldly after getting into the car. Then she sat in the back seat without a word. The driver couldn't help but look at the rearview mirror. The more he looked, the more scared he became. Miss, I'm going home for dinner. Why don't you get out of the car in front and hail another one? Hua Min looked up. There were still traces of blood on the corner of her mouth. It was indeed scary at night. I'm not a vampire. Hua Min cursed Chin Chu in her mind. Then she yelled at the driver. The driver was speechless. The driver trembled in fear. He didn't dare to say anything else and just kept driving. When she arrived at Sky Blessing Court, it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, her mother left the door open. Huamin quietly went upstairs, took a shower and got into bed. She didn't know when her phone ran out of battery. She charged it and lay down. Qin Chu dialed the familiar number on his cell phone. "Sorry, the subscriber you have dialed is unavailable." His heart sank when he heard that Huamin had turned off her phone. Chapter 9:16. The next morning, when Qin Chu walked out of his morning meeting, Assistant Yang considerately handed him a band-aid. "Sir, the corner of your mouth is... it's injured. Here, stick it on." "No need," Qin Chu coldly refused. "Did a young lady bite you?" Assistant Yang was a very curious child. This was the first time he saw his boss' mouth was injured, so he was quite curious. He really wanted to know if it was a young lady's doing. After all, a young lady usually looked very gentle. She wouldn't do something so wild, right? Qin Chu faintly glanced at Assistant Yang and asked, "Could it be a poodle?" "Sir, you like dogs?" Assistant Yang was stunned. "You'll lose your bonus this month, next month, next month." Qin Chu pointed at Assistant Yang. His heart was really tired. He actually used such a silly assistant for more than half a year. Assistant Yang was once again dumbfounded. Wasn't he just suspecting that his boss was bitten by a dog? Was this necessary? 3 months of bonus. He really wanted to find a place to cry for a while. After he walked out of the office, he immediately reported to everyone, "The boss is in a bad mood today. Every department needs to be careful. If you say or do something wrong and get your bonus deducted, don't blame me for not warning you." Then Assistant Yang walked to a corner and took out his phone again. This time he used his trump card. In the past, whenever he was scolded by his boss, he only needed to call a young lady and it was guaranteed to work. After all, his boss had a wife complex. So Assistant Yang dialed Huamin's number. Huamin was doing his rounds. When he saw that it was Assistant Yang, he hesitated for a moment before picking up. "A young lady, it's Assistant Yang. What's up?" Huamin thought that Qin Chu wanted him to pass on a message, so he was quite excited. "There's something I need a young lady's help with." "What is it?" "I accidentally said something wrong and the boss deducted 3 months of bonus. A young lady, please put in a good word for me." "I'm sorry, I can't help you. Your boss has been in a bad mood recently. My words are useless." "No way. The boss always listens to a young lady. Times are different. If you don't believe me, you can mention my name. And I guarantee that he'll deduct 3 months of bonus." Then Huamin quickly hung up the phone. Assistant Yang was dumbfounded. What kind of trick were these two playing? Didn't they say SM's taste last night? Why did they change? Normal people like him couldn't understand the world tycoons. At noontime, Jiang Xiaosu's. And time night, it's why Jiang Xiaosu also did a prenatal checkup, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. "Hey, you being a witness is making a big deal out of this." Jiang Xiaosu glanced at Huamin. "I know." Huamin seemed very calm. "Does Qin Chu know you're doing this?" "Yeah." "How's he doing right now?" "He's going crazy." Huamin thought back to Qin Chu's condition and concluded. "If it were me, I'd go crazy too. I'd definitely be jealous. It doesn't matter who that person is as long as it's not Suyu. You just had to testify for Suyu and put yourself at the center of the storm." "If I don't testify because I'm scared, then I'm not Huamin. I'll just be Huamin the turtle." Huamin felt like he couldn't be a Mary Sue, but he still had to have a bottom line. She just stood up to clarify the truth. This was a very normal thing to do. She wasn't trying to save the world, so was it necessary? Hearing Huamin's words, Jiang Xiaosu almost spat out the water in her mouth. "Don't tease me, I didn't realize you had such a funny side. I'm just stating the truth, okay?" Huamin said as he picked up some food. "Oh right, I almost forgot about something important." After speaking, Jiang Xiaosu turned sideways, took out a long call log from her bag and handed it to Huamin. "Here, my friend pulled up the call log from your old phone. Take a look." Chapter 9:17. When Huamin heard this, she couldn't wait any longer. She immediately took the phone and looked through it from top to bottom. Then she saw an unfamiliar number. It was a string of strange numbers that appeared 3 times. The frequency wasn't high, but it was very eye-catching. You also want to ask about the number that starts with 920, right? Jiang Xiaowei seemed to have guessed what Huamin wanted to ask. Yeah, it's a strange number. Can you find out where it came from? Huamin raised her head and looked at Jiang Xiaowei. Huamin noticed that the last time this number appeared was on the day of Uncle Jing's death. It was 2 in the morning. It was a strange time and a strange number. It looked like a space number that scammers often used. Well, I also felt that it was quite strange at the time, so I asked my hacker friend to check it out. It was very strange. It was indeed a group of space numbers, but following the clues it was quite surprising. The IP was overseas. Overseas? Huamin was a little surprised. Jiang Xiaowei nodded. The location is Amsterdam, the Netherlands. But I can't find out the exact location because it's too far away. I can only find out that the person who used this number is in the Netherlands. Huamin carefully tried to recall. She couldn't remember when Uncle Jing knew someone from the Netherlands. This was too unexpected. It was beyond her imagination. Then she continued to look at the call log. Everything was normal. There were calls from her and there were calls from her mother. There were also calls from some of Uncle Jing's friends when he was alive. However, the number that appeared 3 times was very strange. Can I get through to this number? I want to call and ask. Logically speaking, you shouldn't be able to get through because this number is similar to a scammer's number. You can only call, not intercept. The caller probably doesn't want to be found. But you can try because I haven't called before. Huamin nodded. She took out her phone and dialed the long string of numbers. But she realized that she really couldn't get through. There was only a beeping sound from the other end. This number shouldn't be scammers, right? Scammers can't appear 3 times at once, Jiang Xiaowei analyzed. It's definitely not a scammer because there are call times here. Look, the last call was actually 4 minutes long. Huamin was a careful person. When he saw the time after the call, he was even more certain of the strangeness of this phone number. She was sure that Uncle Jing couldn't speak English, not even a single word. Yet he was able to converse with people from the Netherlands. Could it be that the person on the other side was also from China? The more Huamin thought about it, the more confused he became. Also, she realized that her background was like a huge mystery. As she continued to investigate, she realized that there were more and more questions. It was not as simple as she thought. No wonder a powerful person like Rick couldn't do it and Qin Chu couldn't do it. Even she herself felt that this matter was not ordinary. But even so, she wanted to find her family even more. She didn't know if her parents would know that she still existed in this world. Huamin argued with Qin Chu, so he didn't want to go home. However, he didn't want his mother to worry either, so he didn't go back to Sky Blessing Court. Instead, he arranged for himself to work a few night shifts at the hospital. During the day, he would rest on the bed in the hypnosis room. He already treated the hospital as his home. That night, Qin Yuman made a rare visit to the corporation. After inspecting the place, he got into Qin Chu's car and drove back to the Qin Manor. Dad has something to ask you. Go ahead, Qin Chu said as he drove. Originally, I didn't want to get involved in matters between you and Huamin. I didn't want to interfere with everything like your mom did. But this time the media made such a big deal out of it. I don't understand how Huamin got involved with Suyu. He even stood out to testify for him. Right now the public is saying terrible things. Have you guys discussed this? Qin Yuman asked in a serious tone. Qin Chu's expression changed. He knew that his father was going to ask about this. After all, everyone already knew about it. Chapter 9:18. Yeah, she told me. Qin Chu nodded. So you agreed with her? Qin Yuman looked at his son with a gloomy expression. I told her to do it. Qin Chu thought for a moment and explained. What? You told her to do it? Qin Yuman was a little surprised. He always thought that his daughter-in-law was too arrogant and didn't care about other people's feelings. But now that he heard his son say that it was his idea, he was quite surprised. Although Qin Chu was angry with Huamin, he would never slander her in front of other people. Instead, he would protect her, especially in front of his father. He would take all the responsibility on his own shoulders. As for what he did for Huamin, he didn't need Huamin to know about it. All he needed to do was take the blame. Yeah, I told her to do it because I didn't want to owe Suyu a favor. Actually, Suyu could have said it himself, but he didn't because he cared about our reputation. I think he's quite a loyal person, so I asked Huamin to testify for him. But do you know what people are saying? I don't care what people say. We live our lives for ourselves. As long as we're happy, we don't care about other people's opinions anymore. Dad, we're not in your era anymore. We can only be ourselves. I know you care about us, but please believe in Huamin. Even if you don't believe in Huamin, please believe in your son. My judgment can't be wrong. Since you said that, I won't ask anymore. Anyways, try to keep a low profile when you do things. Okay. Chin Chu nodded. He was grateful that his father didn't nag. He was as annoying as his mother. Evening, the Qin manor was unusually lively. Mayor Song and his wife brought along Song Yisher. Qin Yumin, his wife, and Qin Chu had dinner together. Actually, Qin Chu didn't know that they were coming. He just happened to bump into them. Lady Qin instructed the maid to pack a lot of dumplings and 8 dishes. It was very sumptuous. Song Yisher posted a picture of dumplings and Qin Chu, who was sitting across from her. Huamin was on the night shift and wasn't in the mood for dinner. Sister Ingzi went to buy dinner for Ni Yang and Huamin. A young lady, I bought some vegetable porridge and pickled vegetables. Don't eat too much. Thank you. Huamin looked at Sister Ingzi gratefully. After Sister Ingzi left, she put her dinner aside and continued working. She was not in the mood to eat. At this moment her phone rang. She immediately picked it up to check. She thought it was Qin Chu, but it was Hua Xiqian. He didn't say anything. There was only a screenshot of Song Yisher's WeChat post. It said, "Very warm dinner. Thank you Mr. Qin, Mama Qin and you." There were 3 pictures below. The first one was a plate of white dumplings and the second one was a selfie. Song Yisher's selfie was very beggar-like. She didn't act cute, scissors, or pretend to be innocent. She just rested her chin on her hand and only showed the side of her face. She looked like a bourgeois. Needless to say, it was definitely Qin Chu. In the third picture, Qin Chu was talking to Mayor Song. Even the side of his face was handsome enough, especially when he was discussing something seriously. Huamin was furious when he saw the picture. Mr. Qin went to talk to that little bitch just because he didn't like her. "Little sister Mion, are you sad?" Hua Xiqian sent 3 words. "Why would I be sad?" Song Yisher posting something like this on WeChat at a time like this can easily make people think, Hua Xiqian said. "Then if I go eat with Suyu now, will it be a tie?" Huamin asked back. "You're going to eat with Suyu?" Hua Xiqian was a little shocked. "I won't do something so low," Huamin replied. "But if you don't do something you might lose your status, because I realized that Song Yisher is quite powerful. She's not as easy to deal with as those other girls," Hua Xiqian reminded him. "I'm not in the mood to fight with her. She can do whatever she wants, I'm tired." Huamin was a little lonely. She didn't think that Qin Chu would be so quiet the entire day. He didn't call or send her a WeChat message. He even went to eat dinner with Song Yisher. "God forbid. Do you need a lawyer? I can hire one for you." "Why would I need a lawyer?" Huamin replied in confusion. "A divorce," Hua Xiqian said in a serious tone. Huamian didn't know if he was serious or just joking. Seeing the word divorce, Huamin's heart sank. Chapter 9:19. To be honest, divorce was a word she had never thought about. Even when she argued with Qin Chu before, she didn't really want to divorce him. Marriage wasn't a game and it wasn't something that could be married or divorced on a whim. Hua Xiqian's words made Huamin extremely uncomfortable. Seeing that she didn't reply, Hua Xiqian added, "Huh? You took it seriously, I was just teasing you." Huamin decided not to reply, because she realized that whenever she and Qin Chu had a conflict, people would pick on her. They wanted her to divorce Qin Chu immediately. She remembered that her mother once said that words like divorce and breakup shouldn't be spoken carelessly. Because once hurtful words were spoken, they would leave a mark. If she talked about breakup too much, one day they would really break up, and she had already laid the groundwork for the future. If she talked about divorce too much, one day they would really divorce because she had already laid the groundwork. Huamin's EQ wasn't that high, but it definitely wasn't low either. Although she was angry, she wouldn't say things like that to hurt Qin Chu. The Hua family had basically sorted out the situation. After Hua Jinghai beat Shen Jiani up, he put her under house arrest and forbade her from leaving the house. If he kicked her out now, wouldn't it be the same as asking her to go find an adulterer? Hua Si, on the other hand, was kicked out of the Hua family. In order not to expose the scandal, Hua Xiqian sent him back to the Philippines with a plane ticket. Hua Yanyan was still Hua Jinghai's child, so she was allowed to stay in the Hua family. However, because of her mother and brother, Hui Yanyan had lost all of her popularity. She had almost fallen out of favor. She racked her brains to hook up with those rich men's sons, only hoping to find a powerful one to marry her. Then she could save her mother from disaster. Jiang Hong and Hua Xiqian, on the other hand, were the biggest winners, but he wanted more than that. At the Hua family mansion, Hua Zhenghai hadn't returned for 3 nights, and it seemed like he was keeping another young model outside. It was wishful thinking for him to have a son at his age. Jiang Hong was already very calm about this kind of thing. She was drinking tea with Hua Xiqian on the sofa in the living room. Hua Xiqian respectfully poured a cup of tea for his adoptive mother and carefully handed it to her. "Mom, you haven't been out much lately. It's boring to stay at home all the time. It's good to go out and relax. If you want to go abroad, I'll book tickets for you. Don't worry. It's pretty good at home now. It's quiet." Jiang Hong smiled slightly. Xin Jianni's defeat made her very happy. The thorn in her side for more than 20 years was finally removed. Her mood was much better all of a sudden. "Damn old man, this shameless old man is fooling around outside again. Find someone to keep an eye on him. Don't let him have another son." It was not easy to move in with Xin Jianni. "I don't want to have a second one," Jiang Hong warned. "Don't worry. I won't. You can play with him as much as you want, but don't even think about having children. How are things with the board of directors? Almost all of them are our people now. We can kick them out at any time. It's just that too many things have happened recently. I can't be too obvious about it. I'll find a suitable opportunity. I trust you. Mom, you still have feelings for the old man after all these years, right? If you do, I won't be so ruthless. I'll keep him by your side. He'll be a companion. No need. My heart has been riddled with holes over the years. Ever since Xin Jianni married into our family, I've been gritting my teeth. One day I'll see him begging for mercy and kick him away." Jiang Hong hated Hua Zhenghai to the core. Although she didn't have feelings for Hua Zhenghai in the beginning, she was a woman who cared a lot about her reputation. Xin Jianni married into the family openly and even gave birth to a son and a daughter. This made her a laughing stock in the socialite circle for years. She had suppressed this hatred in her heart for a long time, so she couldn't go easy on Hua Zhenghai. "If you say so, then I know what to do." Hua Xiqian smiled. "Xiqian. Go ahead, Mom." Hua Xiqian was smart enough to act according to the situation. As soon as he heard Jiang Hong's tone, he knew that she had something else to say. As expected, Jiang Hong put down the teacup in her hand and said meaningfully, "You're over 30, it's time to start a family." Chapter 9:20. "Mom, I'm not in a hurry. You have to be. It's not about whether you're in a hurry or not. I just think that if you can find a woman of equal social status, it might be better for us." Hua Xiqian licked his lips, smiled and didn't say anything. "Forget about the thing between you and that actress. She's just an actress. Just play around, don't take it to heart." "I know, Mom." Hua Xiqian was very obedient and nodded in response to Jiang Hong's words. "As a member of a family like ours, you shouldn't think about love. That's illusory. It's not suitable for us. Also, I think that a marriage with benefits will last longer. A marriage formed by love is actually very fragile. Once the love is gone, the marriage can't be maintained. Do you understand what I mean?" "I understand." Hua Xiqian poured another cup of tea for his mother and carefully pushed it towards her. "What do you plan to do with Hua Min?" Jiang Hong asked softly as she took the teacup. "I'll still kick her out." These 4 words made Jiang Hong's frown slowly fade away. She seemed to be very satisfied with Hua Xiqian's answer. "That kid is smart and I like her, but she's too arrogant to be of use to us. There's no point in keeping her. Hua Min has always dreamed of using her to get close to Qin Chu. Hua Zhenghai doesn't even know how smart Hua Min is. I won't take that risk, I'll just kick her out. Xiqian, you have to remember, the Hua family belongs to me and my son." "I know." Hua Xiqian nodded. Jiang Hong was an extremely calm and even cold woman. She was born without love. She was born into the wealthy Jiang family and had been scheming against her brothers and sisters since she was young. She had no family, no love, and no friendship. All of her interpersonal relationships were calculated. In order to adopt Hua Xiqian from her sister, she gave her sister more than 30 million yuan to invest in a factory. Now she raised a scheming son, but Hua Xiqian was much scarier than she imagined. After Suyu was cleared of all charges, he kept a low profile and rarely appeared in public. Occasionally he would go to Imperial Star to deal with business, but most of the time he would stay in the Su family's villa. Because someone had died in the private villa, it was rather unlucky, so it was directly sold at a low price. Suyu's return home made the Su family especially happy. Mr. Su was busy with work and was rarely at home. Master Lord Su would occasionally take a break. He would drink with his grandson and play chess. He lived a very leisurely life. On this day the old man was in a good mood and looked for Suyu to play chess. The grandfather and grandson were sitting on the tatami mats in the study upstairs, playing Chinese chess. Next to it was incense, which had an ancient charm. What do you think of Grandpa Su's granddaughter? When the old man asked this question, the two guests had already been gone for more than 10 days. They only stayed for a few days. After all, they had matters to attend to, so it was inconvenient for them to stay for long. Grandpa, are you talking about that Su Jimin? Suyu picked up a horse and placed it on the chessboard. Yes. He's pretty good. The little girl is quite lively, naive and romantic. Surprisingly, Suyu's evaluation of her was quite high. Then if she's your wife? Before Master Lord Su could finish, Suyu interrupted him. Forget it. That girl is fine as a sister, but as a wife I'd rather be single for the rest of my life. Then why? Master Lord Su was confused. She's not my cup of tea. Then what do you want? Pork stewed with pickled cabbage. Suyu replied flirtatiously. You brat, can't you have a pleasant chat with Grandpa? Master Lord Su was helpless. General Grandpa, you lost. There's no solution to the checkmate, Suyu clapped his hands and cheered, laughing uncontrollably. Grandpa's chess skills were superb and he rarely won. Today the old man's mind was no longer on chess, but on testing his grandson's thoughts. Brat, don't play dumb with me. Just tell me, when can I have a great-granddaughter or great-granddaughter? The old man was also anxious. He pushed the chessboard and started playing. Oh, are you threatening me now? Cut the crap and answer the question directly. Master Lord Su was unwilling to give up. Chapter 921. You'll definitely have a great-grandson and a great-granddaughter. Don't worry, it's only a matter of time. If I wait another 20 years, I'll be a pile of dirt by now. My bones will rot away. Master Lord Su was furious. Then tell me, what do you mean? Get married as soon as possible. Then I have to have someone to marry. Suyu laughed dryly, wondering why his old man was so stubborn. I've already thought about it. If you really don't like Jimin, that actress from your company is fine too, but I've relaxed the rules. The one called Tong or something, Grandpa Su said as he leaned against the wall behind him and lit a cigarette. Her? No. Suyu hurriedly waved his hand. Don't you like that girl? Grandpa, who told you that I like her? Suyu asked with a smile. The media said it. I read it in the newspapers all the time. Gosh, you even believe the media's words. The media's words, other than the year, month and date, are all fake. Even the weather forecast is always lying to us commoners. Stop spouting nonsense. We're talking about your business now. Why are you talking about the weather forecast? Master Lord Su was anxious about Suyu's accident. At the same time he thought of something. She was in a hurry for Suyu to start a family. Men were sometimes fickle because they were single. Once they had a family, a wife and children, they would feel responsible. The old man decided to let his grandson get married and restrain his flamboyant personality. It would be good for the future. He didn't expect this kid to refuse to talk about the main topic. He kept talking about random things all the way to Los Angeles. The main topic is easy, but you said no. When I find a wife, I have to find someone I like. Grandpa, a lifetime is only a few decades. Our family doesn't lack money or power, so I don't have to find a socialite to marry, right? Plus, I'm your only grandson. Can you bear to see me live a miserable life? Who wants you to get married? The problem now is for you to find someone quickly. Who do you like? Tell me. Don't have anything for the time being. When I find something I like, I'll tell you. It's getting late. You should rest early. After saying this, Suyu got off the tatami and ran away. This brat. Seeing that his grandson was unwilling to speak, Master Lord Su asked for an entire night, but to no avail. He was truly out of options. When Suyu returned to his room, he saw his mother changing the bedsheets. Mom, That's enough. It's such a waste to change it every day. I'm not a clean freak. I saw it when I was shopping today. The material is good, so I bought it for you. You can use it first. It's rare for you to come home. Lady Sue was especially happy that her son had returned home. Every day she told the kitchen to cook different dishes for Suyu. The daily necessities were changed every day, and the service was even better than that of a hotel. Suyu actually understood his mother's feelings very well. Every mother doted on their son. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Lady Sue asked. I'm not hungry. Then you should go to bed early. Okay. Suyu turned around, took off his jacket and prepared to take a shower. Lady Sue suddenly thought of something and asked, Son, Huimin's testimony was key to you coming out this time. But now she's at the center of the storm. You've been in the media industry for so long. Can you help her explain? I'm worried that she won't be able to handle such a big scandal. Lady Sue knew that Huimin had helped her son, so she was grateful. Now that she saw the media crazily reporting about this matter, she felt bad. He was fine. After all, he was a godlike tycoon with scandals. Ever since he started his company, scandals had never stopped. However, Huimin was different. He was a girl. Once she was at a disadvantage, she would drown in saliva. After hearing his mother's words, Suyu's expression became complicated. He originally wanted to protect Huimin, but now it was the other way around. Huimin helped him clear his name, but he was the one being slandered. Chapter 922. Mom, I want to help, but I'm afraid it'll only make things worse, Suyu replied in all seriousness. As one of the male leads in the scandal, if he stepped out to clear Huimin's name, it would cause an even bigger backlash. Therefore, he had no choice but to remain silent and control the media that he could control to suppress the scandal. He even asked some paid posters to speak up for Huimin, but it didn't seem to be of any use. In the age of the internet, news spread faster and faster, and the more it spread, the more ridiculous it became. Okay, I got it. Lady Sue turned around and left. After taking a shower, Suyu lay in bed and turned on his phone. The screensaver was a classic photo of Huimin in a white lab coat. He stared at the photo for about 10 seconds before unlocking his phone and logging into Weibo. There were a lot of comments under his Weibo, but most of them were his fans. The top comment was a rather dramatic one. The person said, I've never hated Lord Sue before. There were more than 2,000 people who liked the post, and it was quite popular. Most of the comments were from female fans who kept calling him hubby, so he didn't care. However, there were also a few who scolded him. Suyu, what's your relationship with Huimin? Why did she help you clear your name? Why did a young lady of GK come to Suyu's birthday? Is she a spy you sent to Chinchu? Bro, it's not good for you to seduce a married woman. It's a moral issue. A third party is still a third party. It's wrong to be a third party. You're a rich godlike tycoon. You can have any woman you want. Why would you seduce someone else's wife? Another comment was even more amusing. Why do I feel like there's more to this than meets the eye? Suyu and Chinchu have a love-hate relationship. Huimin is the real cannon fodder. Suyu was speechless after reading this comment. He couldn't help but marvel at how talented the netizens were. He quietly clicked on Huimin's Weibo and found that she hadn't updated recently. However, the comments under the most recent Weibo post had exploded. There were about 50 to 60,000 comments. She clicked on them and saw that they were all scolding her. Huimin, how can you be so shameless? You seduced Lord Sue when you already have a husband. The women of the Hu family are all bitches. Huimin and Hu Yanyan are all the same. Identification complete. I want to know the extent of the trauma in Co Chin's heart after this incident was exposed. Huimin, is it really okay for you to be two-timing? Are you worthy of President Chin buying you a sports car and a mansion? You're a woman who doesn't know how lucky she is. She's courting death. Miss Hua, who's better at sex, President Sue or President Chin? I'll bet 10 cents that Huimin and Chin Chu are about to get a divorce. If they don't, I'll livestream myself eating shit. Huimin's comment section was a mess, but most of them were scolding her. Women had always been the underdog in this society. Suyu's heart ached, especially when Huimin didn't say anything. He didn't even refute or explain. He just silently endured everything. Previously, one of his male artists cheated on his wife. When she was pregnant, he slept with another female artist. After the result was exposed, their careers went downhill. In the end, the male artist listened to the advice of his public relations team. He cried bitterly and held a press conference, saying that he was sorry for his wife and that he would turn over a new leaf. The female mistress was scolded to the core and had no hope of making a comeback. She was shelved by Imperial Star and left the country for Australia. It took two hands to clap. Both of them weren't good people. However, the man had to kowtow and admit his mistakes, play the role of a good husband and beg for forgiveness. On the other hand, the woman would be scolded to the point that her name would go down in history and she would never be able to make a comeback. Therefore, Siyu was very afraid that Huamin would carry this stain on his record and he would never be able to erase it. If that was the case, he might as well go to court. The police wouldn't be able to detain him anyway. After hesitating for a long time, Siyu sent a private message to Huamin. There were only 3 words. Are you asleep? He didn't know that Huamin wasn't going home anymore. He was sleeping at Southside and was in a bad situation. Huamin rarely logged into Weibo. She was bored on the night shift and was afraid that she would be sleepy, so she took out her phone to read the news. She accidentally logged into Weibo and saw Suyu's private message. Not yet, she replied. I told you not to help me. Look at you now. You've been scolded to death. Do you know that? Suyu wrote, feeling sorry for her. Chapter 923. I know. Huamin didn't like to waste time, so his reply was short and concise. Then are you stupid? Even if I dug out my IQ, I'd still be 2 pounds higher than you. Suyu, you're still in the mood to joke at a time like this? Suyu was also depressed. The darkness will pass eventually. What's there to be afraid of? It's not like the sky is falling. Huamin was very optimistic. Then, what about Chinchu? Did he fight with you? Suyu asked anxiously. The truth was he was quite conflicted. Selfishly speaking, he quite liked the idea of Chinchu and Huamin fighting. If that happened, then Chinchu would lose Huamin in the future and he would have a chance. However, from the overall situation, Huamian and Chinchu had deep feelings for each other since the last time the two families fought. Ever since Huamin's quick-witted response to GK's crisis, Huamin was the woman who was willing to beg Huasiqian for Chinchu. Therefore, if Chinchu and Huamin fought, then Chinchu, who was deeply in love with Huamin, would be very sad. Suyu, on the other hand, didn't want Huamin to be sad, so he was conflicted after asking this question. I'm fine. Huamin's answer was vague. She wouldn't tell Suyu about her relationship with Chinchu. After all, it was a private matter between the two of them. If you can't handle it, then go abroad for a while. I'll slowly deal with this here in China, and you can come back when things calm down. It's okay, I can handle it, it's nothing. Plus, there's nothing between us, why should I run away? But you're right. Suyu was a little disappointed. There was indeed nothing between him and Huamin. It was just that someone had taken the opportunity to make a big fuss out of nothing. Because of their identities, they had been hyped up. After sending private messages for a while, Suyu still couldn't fall asleep. He sent a message in the group. Who's not coming? Who wants to come out for a few drinks? Me, Tang Chuan replied immediately. Me too. Wei Liao also gave a rare reply. You're floating in the water. Won't Dr. Jiang kill you? Everyone knew that Wei Liao doted on Jiang Shaowei a lot, especially after she got pregnant. He treated her like a queen. Since then, Wei Liao rarely came out to drink, so when he finally showed up, Tang Chuan and Suyu were quite surprised. My doctor took the initiative to ask me to come out. He said that he was afraid that I would have prenatal depression. Wei Liao smiled. Prenatal depression. Isn't that a disease of pregnant women? What does it have to do with you? Tang Chuan exclaimed. You don't understand this, do you? Nowadays, a lot of men accompany their husbands to give birth. In the end, after a long time, their wives are fine, but they get sick. My wife has a doctorate in psychology. Don't doubt her theory. Wei Liao looked at him with admiration. Never in his wildest dreams did he think that he would one day marry a top student. Okay. Whatever your wife says is right. Stop talking nonsense. We'll wait for you on the top floor of Seductive Fox. Then the 3 of them drove to their appointments. Suyu drove a black Lamborghini. Tang Chuan's flirtatious pink Ferrari and Wei Liao's low-key Land Rover Range Rover both stopped at the entrance of Seductive Fox. In the private room on the top floor, Tang Chuan didn't bring a female companion, which was rare. There were only the 3 of them in the huge private room. Suyu ordered some drinks and snacks. Then the three of them sat across from each other and chatted. I thought about some things today, but I don't really understand them. You two can help me sort them out. Suyu held an empty glass and spun it around on the coffee table. Sure. Tang Chuan nodded. Tell me about it. Wei Liao guessed that Suyu had something to say. It was so late at night. Instead of sleeping, he came out to drink. Zhao Xia died in my private villa. The time of her death happened to be when I wasn't on the surveillance camera. That's when I met Huamin. So, I'm more suspicious than anyone else. Normal people would think that Zhao Xia used her death to frame me and avenge her sister. Isn't that the case? Tang Chuan was stunned. On the surface it seems so. But after thinking about it carefully, I feel that something is wrong. Wei Liao took out a chunghua and held it in his mouth as he looked at Suyu and asked, "What's wrong?" Chapter 924. First of all, how did Zhao Xia know when I left the banquet? She should have been in my bedroom by then. She's an accomplice. Otherwise, how could someone of Zhao Xia's status sneak in without an invitation? Tang Chuan analyzed. That's right, she's definitely an accomplice. What I want to tell you now is their goal. Goal? Isn't their goal to slander you? Guess. Even an idiot would know that. Tang Chuan looked at Suyu in confusion. No, I don't think it's that simple. Do you see any other flaws? Wei Liao asked. I think that if they wanted to slander me, they would have found a way to lure me into the mansion. Wouldn't that be more evidence? They wouldn't have let me go out to meet Huamin. Huamin would be the only witness and she would definitely testify for me. So you're saying? Wei Liao seemed to understand what Suyu meant. Yeah, I have a bold guess. I think that Zhao Xia might have been used. On the surface, her death was to slander me, but in reality that person's goal might be to slander Huamin. Once Huamin testifies for me and clears my name, she would fall into that person's trap. Now that things have developed into this situation, perhaps that's the true goal of the mastermind. Holy shit, no way, that's too scary. It's a series of traps. Tang Chuan exclaimed. Wei Liao and Suyu looked at each other, seemingly understanding each other's thoughts. Wei Liao stomped on the cigarette butt and said in a serious tone, if that's the case, then this person is very scary. Zhao Xia was used and slandering you was also a catalyst. He calculated everything, including the time you met Huamin, and his understanding of Huamin's personality. That's why he was able to control the situation and make things develop in the direction he wanted. This person is incredible. I just have a feeling, but I'm not sure. So, are you going to investigate it? Of course. This person is not only my enemy but also Huamin's enemy. I have to find him. Suyu had been holding back his anger. After thinking about it today, he felt that something was wrong. Originally, he also knew that Zhao Xia definitely had an accomplice. Later, he boldly speculated that this matter might have something to do with Huamin. Because that person would not sacrifice Zhao Xia to do something that could not be blackmailed at all. This was tantamount to a waste of time because everyone knew Suyu's identity. Even if they went to court, they would not lose the case. This was an irrefutable fact. Huamin was framed, so he must not be on good terms with Qin Chu. Therefore, the most likely suspect is the murderer. I thought of someone, Tang Chuan suddenly said. Is it Song Yisher? Wei Liao blurted out. Smart. Tang Chuan gave him a thumbs up. I don't think it's Song Yisher. Suyu shook his head and rejected Tang Chuan's suggestion. She's the most suspicious. You don't know how ambitious your woman is, right? She moved to Imperial Park. What kind of place is that? That's where Huamin and Qin Chu live. Plus, Song Yisher has a lot of power and connections. It's convenient for her to do things. Tang Chuan especially disliked Song Yisher because the socialites who were close to Song Yisher were all famous scheming bitches in the industry. In the past, Tang Chuan had a girlfriend who was bullied by those women. Because of this, Tang Chuan even had a fight with them on Weibo. Zhao Qingya's accident happened a long time ago, and Song Yisher just came back not long ago. I don't think she would think of a way to do something like this. If the mayor's daughter is involved in something like murder and Bingdu, it will affect her father's career. I don't think Song Yisher would take such a risk just to frame Huamin and ruin their relationship. This was Wei Liao's analysis. Wei Liao had always been known for his intelligence, so Suyu would often discuss things with him that he couldn't figure out. Suyu nodded and agreed with Wei Liao. That's strange, who else could it be? Tang Chuan muttered to himself. This person must be someone important and, They're ruthless, Suyu speculated. Hey, do you guys think it could be Lady Qin? Doesn't she hate Huamin the most? Tang Chuan suddenly thought of someone and quickly asked. Chapter 925. Well, it's hard to say for now. But such a meticulous plan doesn't seem like something Lady Qin would do. If it were her, there would be someone helping her behind the scenes. I've seen Lady Qin's interview before, she's extremely brainless. Suyu obviously didn't have a high opinion of Lady Qin. Okay, let's not dwell on it for now. Since we know it's a conspiracy, let's investigate it. As long as it's man-made, there must be flaws. There will be clues left behind, Tang Chuan suggested. Hey, come, let's have a drink. After all these years, I've finally been tricked by someone hot. Suyu raised his glass. Qin family mansion after dinner. Mayor Song and his wife chatted with the Qin family couple in the living room. Qin Chu was about to drive away when Song Yisher followed him out. Qin Chu, can you give me a ride home? I'm a little sleepy. I still have to work on the renovation of the school tomorrow, so I want to go home early and rest. Qin Chu nodded and didn't say anything else. Song Yisher opened the door to the passenger seat and was about to get in. Qin Chu said, "Go sit in the back." Before she could say anything, Qin Chu continued, "Mion doesn't like other people sitting in my passenger seat." Song Yisher smiled. Then she immediately got up, opened the car door and got in. Although she was a little upset, she didn't show it on her face. On the way back, Qin Chu drove without saying anything. He seemed to be in a bad mood and only ate a dumpling for dinner. "Are you in a bad mood?" Song Yisher asked. Actually, the rumors are spreading like wildfire and everyone knows about it. I know why you're like this even if you don't tell me, but I believe in Huamin. There's nothing between her and Suyu." "You believe her?" Qin Chu was slightly startled. "That's right. If there really was something going on, Huamin wouldn't have testified. Wouldn't that leave evidence for others to use against him? It's precisely because she has nothing that she has to testify for Suyu. She has a good character, so I believe that she and Suyu are definitely not like what the outside world says." Upon hearing what Song Yisher said, Qin Chu was quite surprised. To be honest, he thought that Song Yisher would take the opportunity to slander Huamin, but she didn't. She actually said that she believed in Huamin. This woman was really not ordinary. "Thank you on behalf of Mion." Qin Chu's attitude was obviously better than before. Even though he was still angry with her, he felt comfortable listening to her speak up for Huamin. I heard it from people in the industry. Don't think too much, I'm just saying." "Go ahead," Qin Chu said when he heard Song Yisher's hesitation. "I heard that Suyu has liked Huamin for a long time, right? I didn't know before, after all I just came back not long ago. But I can tell that 2 of my friends went overboard last time at my house and bullied Huamin. Do you remember? That night, Suyu turned his car around and deliberately hit my friend's car. At the time I was quite confused, but now that I think about it, he might really be interested in Huamin." Qin Chu drove but didn't respond. Song Yisher couldn't guess what Qin Chu was thinking, so she immediately said, "But I believe that Huamin doesn't have that kind of intention. After all, he's married to you. After all, you guys have been together for so many years, right?" She said this to get on Qin Chu's good side. "I'm not angry because I suspect that there's something going on between Mion and Suyu," Qin Chu said word for word. "Then you?" "I'm angry because she did it without regard for her own reputation. I don't care about my reputation and I don't care about GK's reputation, but I care about her. I can't stand her being criticized by everyone," Qin Chu said slowly. Song Yisher was quite shocked when she heard what he said. "I didn't think that you loved her so deeply," she said unhappily. Chapter 926. Of course. I'm so jealous of Huamin. She has you to love her so much. Song Yisher smiled. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. The 2 of them returned to Imperial Park together. It was already late at night and the streets were deserted. However, no one noticed an invisible camera that was stuck on a tree branch not far away. The red dot kept blinking as if it was recording something. After they returned to the neighborhood, Song Yisher stopped pestering Qin Chu and went home. Qin Chu didn't go upstairs. Instead he drove out. This time he drove directly to Sky Blessing Court. However, he was surprised to find that Huamin's car wasn't there. He drove to Southside Recuperation Center. When he saw the Audi R8 parked in the hospital's parking lot, he realized that Huamin didn't go home. He should have held back during the Cold War, but he realized that he missed her like crazy. He missed her every frown and smile. He missed her voice. He wanted to hug her to sleep. He wanted to smell her baby-like scent. He wanted to look at her slightly curled eyelashes as she slept. The longing grew crazily in his heart. In the end he couldn't suppress it, it overflowed. He held back for 7 years in the United States, but now he couldn't hold back for even one day. He was used to having her by his side. It was like how water was important to a fish and how the sky was important to a bird. Huamin wasn't the head nurse anymore, so she wasn't on duty at the public TV station. She was still on duty at the office during the night shift. If there was a patient, she would treat them. However, there weren't any emergencies in the neurology department, so she didn't have much to do at night. "Dr. Hua, there's a patient at night," the assistant nurse knocked on the door to remind her. "Is it my department?" Huamin asked. "Yes, they're in the emergency room in the lobby. They seem to be in a hurry." "Okay, I'll be right down." Huamin looked at her phone. It was already late at night. They should be in a hurry to see a patient at this time, right? Therefore she got up, put on her white coat and walked out. In the lobby downstairs, a woman and an old lady were accompanying a man in his 30s. His whole body was twitching and his mouth kept saying something. He couldn't understand, but he seemed to be very agitated. "Dr. Hoy's here. You can talk to him," the nurse said to the patient's family. "Doctor, quickly take a look at my husband. I don't know what happened to you. You suddenly became like this. So scary. Is it epilepsy? Or is he mentally ill?" The woman said anxiously. Huamin looked at the man. He seemed to be in a trance. "Any history of mental illness?" "No." The woman shook her head. "Does anyone in the family have a medical history?" "In the immediate family?" Huamin asked. The old lady beside him quickly shook her head. "No, neither his father nor I have. There's so much gold on the ground. Ah, why don't you guys pick it up, you idiots?" After saying that, the man lowered his head uncontrollably and seemed to be drawing something on the ground. "Hubby, look at me. Don't scare me." The woman was so scared that she started crying. "I don't think he has epilepsy. How about this? Bring him in first. I'll give him a shot of sedative and then draw his blood for a blood test." "Okay." The woman and the old lady panicked. Following Huamin's instructions, they helped the man up and tried to drag him into the clinic. Suddenly, the man slapped the woman and sent her flying, then he kicked the old lady away. Everyone screamed in fear. The timid nurses were so scared that they retreated. For some reason the man went crazy. He raised his head and looked at Huamin. "You demon, why did you steal my gold?" Before Huamin could say anything, the man suddenly ran over and grabbed Huamin's neck with both hands. Then he strangled her tightly. "I'm going to strangle you to death, you demon. You ruined my plans and blocked my path to wealth. I'm going to strangle you to death." The man's gaze was fierce. "Hubby, don't do this. Let go, she's the doctor." The woman ran over while crying, but no matter what she did, he wouldn't let go. Huamin felt like she was going to suffocate when someone suddenly grabbed her by the neck. She reached out to take out the silver needles that she always carried with her, but she realized that her hands wouldn't listen to her. Her brain was running out of oxygen. Just as she felt like she was going to be strangled to death, suddenly a figure flashed over and pulled the man away. Then the man was violently thrown a few meters away. Huamin slowly fell to the ground. Qin Chu hugged her. He was so nervous that his heart almost stopped. "Honey, are you okay?" Chapter 927. Huamin wanted to say something but she couldn't. She reached out and touched Qin Chu's face, her eyes unfocused. To be honest, Qin Chu was scared out of his wits. He didn't care that there were people around them and immediately performed CPR. After about half a minute, Huamin finally came back to her senses. "Why are you here?" Huamin asked weakly when she saw Qin Chu. "Dr. Hua, it's a good thing that your husband is here. Otherwise you would be in big trouble. The patient who was sent in just now went crazy and hurt people everywhere. He almost strangled you," the nurse explained. Huamin thought for a moment and then got down from Qin Chu's arms. She gently stroked her forehead as she walked unsteadily. Qin Chu was worried, so he quickly went up to help her up. "Where's the patient?" Huamin asked. "He was tied up by our security. We were afraid that he would hurt people again." Huamin nodded. Let's do a urine test. I don't think he's mentally ill. If I'm not wrong, he probably ate something. Dr. Wu. The nurse nodded and immediately did as Huamin instructed. Qin Chu helped her to a bench in the consultation room and sat down. Then he poured her a glass of warm water and handed it to her. Thank you. Huamin took the water. She was still very weak, as if she hadn't recovered yet. Why are you being so polite? Qin Chu finally let out a sigh of relief when he saw that she was fine. Why are you here? Huamin finally noticed that Qin Chu was here at this time. It was already so late. If I didn't come, my wife would have been strangled to death, Qin Chu said angrily. Huamin, I'm going to tell Wu Zhongxing tomorrow to transfer you out of the neurology department. It's too dangerous. Huamin, then which subject do you think I'm suitable for? The finance department is not bad. You can work in the finance department. It's good to calculate the salary of the employees, Qin Chu said seriously. Huamin, it was not easy for her to get the medical registration certificate, but Qin Chu actually asked her to work as an accountant in the finance department. What a crazy idea. Before Huamin could say anything, the nurse knocked on the door and walked in. Dr. Hua, the results are out. The urine test is positive. Call the police and send him to the Public Security Bureau. Huamin had long suspected that the man had eaten something, which was why he was so abnormal. He was neither mentally ill nor epileptic. This kind of person was really a danger to society. What do you think of my proposal? What suggestion? It's about finance. Qin Chu did not give up. For the first time he realized that being a doctor was such a dangerous profession. If he had arrived a step later, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Huamin raised his head and asked, then I might as well quit my job and wait at home to give birth to the baby. How about that? Good idea, it's perfect. Huamin, President Qin, please don't make a fuss. I'm still at work and I'm very tired. You should go back. Huamin felt that Qin Chu's suggestion was completely unreasonable. If she quit her favorite profession, wouldn't she be bored to death? Huamin turned around and walked upstairs to her office. Qin Chu followed. What are you doing? Keeping you company. Why do you want to keep me company? Aren't we in a Cold War? Huamin did not forget that they had not reconciled. A Cold War and keeping you company don't conflict, Qin Chu replied cleverly. But you're affecting my work. I was the one who gave you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Now you remember that I'm affecting your work. Huamin, can't you have some conscience? Qin Chu was speechless. His wife was really good at burning bridges. Did you enjoy your dinner? Huamin asked. Qin Chu was silent. He did not know what she was trying to say. Were the dumplings good? Huamin asked with a smile. Yes. Were the song Yisher good? Was it better than the dumplings? Huamin continued to smile. However, her smile made Qin Chu's hair stand on end. Dumplings, song Yisher, she knew all about it. This was troublesome. Chapter 928. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you thinking about how to answer my question? Huamin asked when he saw that Qin Chu wasn't saying anything. Honey, you're right, I did have dinner with Song Yisher tonight. So, there's conclusive evidence that you cheated on her, right? Huamin continued to ask. Cheated on me? Qin Chu was dumbfounded. Huamin was making a big deal out of nothing. Why are you looking at me so surprised? Do you think I don't know anything? Do you think I'm easy to fool? No, I'm just surprised. Where did your imagination come from? How could you infer that I cheated on you from eating dumplings? You're a god. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Am I not? Don't you think you've been hanging out with Song Yisher too much lately? Last night she delivered supper and today she had dinner. Tomorrow night even kids know how to cook. Qin Chu, what? You're speechless? Then please go back. Also help me pass a message to Song Yisher. Huamin said it in all seriousness, but Qin Chu almost burst out laughing. What message? As long as I'm alive, she's just a concubine. Qin Chu, honey, don't insult me like that. I haven't even punished you for being a witness for Suyu. Why would I punish me? There's nothing going on between me and Suyu. Then what's going on between me and Song Yisher? Qin Chu felt wronged. But I didn't eat dumplings with Suyu and Suyu didn't deliver dinner to me. Suyu didn't move to Imperial Park either. Suyu isn't my childhood friend. He didn't know me when we were 8 and he didn't go to Sky Blessing Court every day to pretend to be a good girl in front of my mother. Huamin continued to dig. Chin-Chu couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? Don't think you can win me over with your smile. Huamin had to admit that Mr. Qin looked very handsome when he smiled. Honey, it turns out that you're really so fun when you're jealous. Is it fun? Why don't I think so? Don't you think you're being too much? Mr. Qin. Huamin crossed his arms and angrily questioned Chin-Chu. Honey, let's get this straight. Everything started because you testified for Suyu and now rumors are flying everywhere. Not only are you not repentant, but you're also ignoring me and leaving me alone in the house. You're so willful that it's almost 5 stars. It's fine if you don't come home, but I thought you went back to your parents' home, but you didn't. Instead, you're working the night shift at the hospital. Why don't you take care of your body? Can you face your brother Jishin who loves you dearly? Can you face your husband me and the medicine you drank and vomited? God. Huamin was completely dumbfounded. She didn't know that Mr. Qin was so good at arguing. She thought she was good enough, but in the end Mr. Qin used the medicine as a weapon and used it as a weapon. If you don't care about your body and stay up late, what if our baby is a night owl in the future? Who's going to take the blame? Chin-Chu pretended to question her. Huamin was speechless. She stared at Chin-Chu with wide eyes, speechless. She didn't know what to say. Who wants to have a baby with you? Hurry up and have one with Song Yisher. She's so pretty she can give birth to a little Jiling for you. Huamin's words were full of jealousy. No, I only want a baby with a high IQ. Only a baby with you can continue your high IQ. So, you married me just to have a baby with a high IQ? Huamin's face darkened. What else? Is it because you're living a good life? For the first time in his life, Mr. Qin retorted back at Huamin. His words were like a balm to her. After a while she pointed at the office door and said, "Get out right now." Seeing that Huamin was angry, Chin-Chu was secretly happy. He was finally free from his wife's oppression. So he waved his hand and said, "Ah, it's fine, it's fine. I said the wrong thing. I apologize, I regret it. Honey, you're living the best life. No one in the world can compare to you, okay?" Huamin gritted her teeth as she looked at the man in front of her. She really wanted to ask him why he was here tonight. Was he here to argue or to reconcile? Or was he here to cause trouble for her? Chapter 929. Honey, don't look at me like that. I won't be able to control myself. There was only one person in the world who could drive someone as calm as Huamin crazy, and that was Chin-Chu. Chin-Chu, are you here to pick a fight with me? Huamin asked with a straight face. No. Then why are you here? Huamin didn't understand why Chin-Chu would show up at Southside in the middle of the night. Weren't they in a cold war? I'm missing a certain heartless person. Chin-Chu spoke the truth. You're not talking about me, are you? If it wasn't you, then did you think I came to Southside to see a doctor? Chin-Chu was speechless. Huamin turned her head away and didn't say anything, but she was still angry. There was still a handprint left by the patient on her neck. Chin-Chu furrowed his brows. His heart ached for her. Honey, let's stop fighting. What? Are you admitting your mistake? Huamin saw that Chin-Chu seemed to want to reconcile. Is it that important who's right and who's wrong? Family is a place for love, not reason, Chin-Chu said slowly. To be honest, Huamin was slightly moved by what Chin-Chu said. Some people just couldn't tell the difference. They were nice to outsiders but had a bad temper with their family. Huamin wasn't so bad. If it weren't for the fact that it involved her principles, she wouldn't have gotten mad at Chin-Chu. You don't suspect that Suyu and I are having an affair? Huamin looked at Chin-Chu and questioned him coldly. Then do you suspect that there's something going on between me and Song Yisher? Chin-Chu asked back. Of course not. After calming down, Huamin trusted Chin-Chu very much. Not to mention one Song Yisher. Even if there were 10 Song Yisher, she still wouldn't think that Chin-Chu would be snatched away. She knew Chin-Chu's heart wasn't with Song Yisher. If you could cheat on someone just by looking at their face, then GK had countless beautiful women including Jiang Linyue. They weren't any less beautiful than Song Yisher, but Chin-Chu had never cheated on her, let alone Song Yisher. Since you trust me so much, what else can I say? I am indeed angry about the matter between you and Suyu. I don't care about the rumors outside. I only care that you are being attacked personally. It's okay. I'm used to it. It's not the first time I've been slandered anyway. Plus, I'm not a white lotus. I'm not afraid of slandering. A life without slandering isn't a complete life. Honey, you're always right. After calming down, Chinchu no longer cared about the gains and losses of this incident. Instead, he humbly admitted his mistake. Although it wasn't his fault, when he saw Huamin almost choked to death, his heart almost jumped out of his chest. If this was the last time he saw Huamian and they were separated forever, he would die of sadness, wouldn't he? What was he going to do for the rest of his life? He didn't dare to imagine what his life would be like without Huamin. When Huang Yu died, Huamin once said that other than life and death, everything else was insignificant. He thought that this made sense. As long as they were alive, they should cherish it. As long as they were still together, they shouldn't care about insignificant things. Don't think that I can forgive you just because of this. Then the next time we make love, I'll let you be on top and I'll be on the bottom. He was doing it again and again. Every time after the rain, he would say something shocking. Chinchu, can't you just have a nice chat? Honey, the night is long. It's so boring to just talk. There's a bed here. Why don't we? Are you crazy? This is a hospital, don't even think about it. Honey, what I meant was that we can lie down and chat. Chinchu looked like he was wronged. Huamin felt awkward once again. He didn't say anything, but she always misunderstood him. Who wants to lie down and chat with you? Hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my work. After speaking, Huamin pushed Chinchu out. Honey, if you don't welcome me, then I'm going to go find Song Yisher, Chinchu said on purpose. Huamin was furious upon hearing this. Chinchu, don't you dare! If you go find her, then what do you want? Chinchu laughed as he looked at the furious Huamin. I'm going to find Suyu too. I'm going now, Huamin said angrily. Sure, we're going in the same direction. The Song family and the Su family aren't far from each other. Do you want me to give you a ride? Chinchu smiled. Huamin stomped her feet in anger upon hearing this. Chinchu, you're so despicable, I want to. Before she could finish her sentence, Chinchu suddenly hugged her. Chinchu suddenly rushed over, hugged her, and kissed her domineeringly. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.